stadium that would have been last night?
Dion may have let slip that there was a slight
wrong turn.
Let's put this as
detour.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you're good. So
it wasn't me. It was John. Not you, by the way.
Dion explained that there was John Sal explained that there was a sort of circuitous route to the stadium. But I explained that on our journey there,
yes,
when Steve, our engineer, was the driver, they had actually changed the roads and the signs didn't correspond with the direction to the stadium. I was trying to your corner.
Well, you know, last night we were talking about how Belgium based themselves on the other side of Qatar. Christophe Terreur said to us, yeah, we're at Dukan. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. So went in that. Anyway, we're on this motorway, this sort of 6-lane motorway. Yes, huge. There's nobody else on the road. And this is way after midnight. We're driving on here, and I said, I'm not sure this is the right way. But then we saw a sign to the camel racing circuit, which was a little, but that definitely raised my suspicions. And then the next thing is a road sign. Dukan is 50 kilometres away. So I said, this is totally wrong. We're going in the wrong direction. In the middle of the night, to which we then managed to get up on the radio, on the phone, Dion. What did we put on? Midnight at the Oasis. Midnight at the Oasis.
Of course. Absolutely perfect. Brand new heavies in the
You see, you got on there, and I'm surprised as well that I know that you're just a slip of the last. But the original, of course, is Maria Muldaur.
I wouldn't have got the name, but I am aware it was a cover.
This is how I was educating Dale last night. Well, anyway, you've got more important things to talk about than Maria Muldaur.
May your education continue. John Murray, thank you very much. Reminder that there's coverage of every single match on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Before England, Wales take on Iran at 10. The big news from the Wales camp is the fitness of experienced midfielder Joe Allen, and manager Rob Page confirmed that he is fit and raring to go. Their captain, Gareth Bale, says you can't underestimate the importance of Allen.
Joe's a massive player for us and probably doesn't get all the credit that he deserves. He's a vital kind of cog in the way we play, the way we've always played, and to have him now available for selection is a massive boost for us with 2 games. So hopefully he can, if he comes on or if he starts, he's going to be doing what Joe has covering every blade of grass on the football pitch. He's shown time and time again how important he is in this team, and a Soldi still have a few miles left to go.
Tomorrow you will set a new Wales cap record for men, of course. How special is that to you, and how much would it mean to you to cap it with the win that all Wales wants?
I haven't really been focusing too much on the cap thing, to be honest. Just trying to focus on the game. Obviously, thinking about now, on a personal level, it's an amazing achievement, an honour to represent my country so many times. But like I said, it's more important that we try and get the victory tomorrow, and hopefully we can, and I'll make it even more special.
There were the thoughts of Gareth Bale, and we will have more up to Wales against Iran. It starts with Rick and Rachel on 5 Live Breakfast from 6 o'clock, and the game itself kicks off at 10. Ahead of our commentary this evening, a 7 o'clock kickoff for Brazil against Serbia at the Lusail. We have spoken about Brazil at length, but it's time now to talk about Serbia, who are likely to be relying on this man for their goals.
Gabriel loses out to Mitrovic in his own box, and Mitrovic has tucked it away. Strong play from Mitrovic.
It is, of course, Alexander Mitrovic, and it's a hugely important player for Serbia. We can speak now to Serbian football journalist Nebojša Markovic, who is now so. We usually, Nebojša, talk about who's the star player for this team. For Serbia, is it Mitrovic?
Well, good evening, everyone. Even if it is Mitrovic, he's not the only star of this team, but definitely he is the star, and it is a bit of a surprise the team in starting lineup tonight, because they were kind of accepted and expected here in Serbia, that it was Dusan Vlahovic who would start up front, and especially due to Mitrovic's problems recently with his injury. But then again, head coach Dragan Stojkovic is known for making surprises, and Mitrovic starts the match up front.
Is that, do you think, because of his form in the domestic league as well for Fulham?
I think that's something that could have some tactical half when the opponents kind of get a bit tired. This would give more space to a bit fresher who would come on later on. But it's simple with Mitrovic. He is Serbia's best goal scorer of all time, including Yugoslavia, which a big thing, and at 28 he has never been better than right now, so that's always something that he would want to bet on.
Borussia, is there belief in the dressing room that you can get something from this game tonight?
Definitely. If Stojkovic brought anything to this team, it is the confidence in their play. It is basically the main reason why this team made such a quick transition from losing out on the Euros against talking about not caring who is the opponent, and thinking more about ourselves, and trying to play beautiful football, to play attacking football, and then see what is going to be what is that going to get us in the match. So definitely the players will be optimistic. Obviously they will not believe that this will be an easy match, and nobody thinks that, but they will be confident in their qualities.
And as much as we talk about the beautiful attacking football that Serbia want to play, this is a team that prevented Norway, which means Erling Haaland, from scoring against them. So is that balanced by an effective defence?
It is not as balanced as maybe we would like, because this team really possesses so much attacking potential and depth. It is not only about quality, it's also the depth. And defensively, tonight we're playing with probably three of our best centre backs, but they're younger players. They are still not at the peak of their powers, and it will be interesting to see how they will fare. It will also be a lot of pressure on Lukic and Lusail in midfield, who will also have to help out the centre backs, and especially because we know how much quality Neymar and everyone else in that Brazil attack have.
Now, Borussia, thank you so much for joining us. Just 10 minutes to go until kick-off. Enjoy the match. Thank you very much to Borussia Markovic for joining us to look ahead and look at some of the key players for Serbia in this matchup against Brazil. But of course, Brazil, always one of everybody's favourite teams to watch at a World Cup final. And of course, there is often one star player. For Brazil, that is Neymar. Tim Vickery is still with us for this one. Tim, we touched on Neymar's politics earlier, which may complicate the situation slightly. In footballing terms now, he's just 2 goals behind Pele.
Yeah, he overtakes Pele. That's sacrilege for people of a certain age. I'll give you another stat with Pele. Neymar now, it's hard to believe this, but he's exactly the same age as Pele when Pele retired from international football. Pele left the scene having done it all. Neymar has it all to do over the next few weeks. I can't wait for Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball to tell us the story. And if I need to give him lessons in pronouncing Lucas Paquetá, he can give me lessons in not calling him Alex.
No, somebody told you. I was going to stick with Alex for the whole night. I was thoroughly enjoying that one from Ali Bruce Ball.
We agree on Al. We can call him Al.
Yeah, you can call him Bessie.
Yeah. Kelly, to be fair to Tim, I've not done one of those sort of pronunciation videos where all our commentators walked up to a screen with our name printed in front of us and pronouncing it properly. So, Al is fine.
Ali hasn't done one of those, but look, the noise inside the stadium, you can hear the atmosphere that's being created at the stadium. Brazil about to be in action against Serbia. They're about to get their World Cup campaign underway. We were talking about Neymar, and this is a World Cup, Tim, in which there are so many great players who will be taking part in their final World Cup. This, Neymar says, despite the fact that he's 30, could be his last one.
Yes. Now, he, as Al referred to earlier on, he's got a sweet thing going with Lucas Paquetá. When they played this formation, they killed off the game in the first half. But one potential problem was that the two of them were a little bit too far apart. You want Paquetá and Neymar closer together. Good sides are made up of interesting little partnerships, and that is one of the most interesting partnerships that Brazil have. Paquetá and Neymar.
And Neymar inside the tunnel at the Lusail Stadium, chatting and high-fiving the mascots, looking extraordinarily relaxed ahead of what could be the start of his final World Cup final. This is Brazil's opening game. They take on Serbia. Thank you very much to Tim for joining us. Your commentary team at the stadium, Chris Sutton and Alex Bruce-Ball.
Thank you very much, Kerry. An explosion of noise inside the Lusail Stadium, the enormous Lusail Stadium, 9 miles north of Doha city centre. The Brazilians in their bright green tracksuits above the blue shorts, and the Serbians all in red, as we await the national anthems ahead of Brazil against Serbia. The boys from Brazil are backing down. The excitement is palpable. The expectation, as always, is enormous. And Serbia are here to spoil the party. And I do, just for a moment, want to do my best to describe this Lusail Stadium for you. We are going to be in here quite a lot during this World Cup. It is hosting matches at every single stage of the competition, including the final. You feel conflicted in doing that because of the obvious issues we've already discussed on 5 Live and BBC Sounds during this tournament, with all the issues surrounding the construction of these stadiums. But our job on the radio is obviously to paint the picture for you and try and put you in our seats. I will do that as sensitively as I can. It is vast. It is breathtaking. It's 2 tiers. It is absolutely plastered pretty much all round with Brazilian fans in the bright yellow shirts. It's slightly similar to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the sort of top rail, up at the very top row of these stands, which steeple away miles into the sky, sort of twist and turn and go up and down like waves or like a ride on a roller coaster. And from the outside, Chris Sutton, you know, I was about to say it's impossible to miss, although I did manage to miss it about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, about 7 times.
On the journey here. I'm describing it as the golden bathtub. It's just this enormous sort of golden bowl. It is an impressive venue.
Oh, it is, absolutely. It's, I mean, just looking around the stadium and at the front, it's like a Brazilian home game. Isn't there? Little pockets of Serbian supporters, but Brazil in a World Cup, we can't wait. But the weight of expectation on this Brazilian is massive.
4.5 years ago, when I was lucky enough to do Brazil's opening game in Rostov, now we are here in Doha this evening. They're in a very similar group actually this time around. Serbia and Switzerland both in it. That night in Rostov, the game finished 1 apiece against Switzerland. They beat Serbia in their final group game. That meant Serbia were knocked out of the group stages. So they will want a little measure of revenge. And I also think this Serbia team is a stronger, more impressive, more sterling outfit than that one back at Russia 2018. The Brazilian team in that familiar, famous kit, the yellow shirts, the blue shorts, the white socks, are in a final team huddle. This is the lineup for you for the opening of their World campaign. A game that is on BBC television tonight. If you head to the iPlayer and look for World Cup Extra and you want the BBC pictures but you want our commentary, that is the way you do it. The initial Brazilian team huddle has broken up and the defenders have moved off to get into position, and then those attacking 4 or 5 players have just had a little huddle of their own just before we get the game underway. Brazil against Serbia. It is the last of the opening round of group games because we are back into the second round in groups A and B tomorrow, and obviously Wales and England will both feature here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Again, another enormous roar goes rifling around the stands here at the Lusail Stadium. We are underway. Brazil have Alisson in goal, Danilo Marquinhos, Thiago Silva and Alex Sandro as a back 4. Casemiro is the holding midfielder. Lucas Qatar and Neymar combining in central midfield. Rafinha and Vinicius Junior the wide men, and Richarlison as the centre forward. And Thiago Silva there, Chris Son, has just got a welcome to the World Cup and been clattered and knocked to the floor. He doesn't look best pleased.
Well, why would he be? But it's really interesting, this game, because we talk about the Brazilian forwards and the swagger, the superstars that they have. There's Neymar getting involved early on, a little tussle. They'll be really fired up. But this Serbian team, they're streetwise, they're strong, they're solid, and they are looking to spring a surprise.
So they play the back 3. Their left-sided centre-back is under pressure from Rafinha. Brazil have gone flying into the challenges early. Rafinha's committed the foul. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic is the younger brother of Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. He is in goal, winning only his 7th cap tonight. He plays his club football for Torino, all in green. I tell you what, he's got some clearance on him. He smashed the ball downfield with his right foot beyond everyone, and it's gone away for a goal kick. Nikola Milenkovic, Milos Veljkovic and Strahinja Pavlovic are the 3 centre-backs from right to left. Andrea Zivkovic and Filip Mladenovic are the 2 wing-backs. Sasa Lukic and Nemanja Gudel of Sevilla provide the real sort of solidity that Chris is talking about in midfield. Milinkovic-Savic, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and Dusan Tadic in support of Alexander Mitrovic. obviously came into the World Cup finals with a foot injury. Has been playing for a big game for Fulham. Is absolutely vital to the national team. For saying that, the likes of Lajovic and Jovic on the bench as well. They're not short of attacking talent, actually, Serbia.
No, and we saw the difference that Juve made for Japan yesterday, so they do have options on the bench. I suppose with Mitrovic as well I think the Serbian fans will be delighted to see him in the team, but how fit is he? Missed his last couple of Premier League games, didn't he? I think it was an ankle injury.
Yeah.
They'll hope he's up to full capacity and can make an impression, as is made for his club this season in the Premier League.
Thiago Silva plays a ball to his left-hand side to Alexandro. Both teams are pressing each other. Tadic is chasing Thiago Silva down to the byline. He plays with his left foot, and Zivkovic, the right wing-back, high up, blocks the pass, and it goes out for a throw into Brazil.
It's interesting what Tim Vickery said earlier about Thiago Silva. They have who is, I think, more mobile. And, be interesting if that back four are isolated. He does lack a little bit of pace, and that may be an area which the Serbians look to exploit. That right-hand channel for them, the left-hand channel of Brazil. But with Tadic and Mitrovic, they aren't necessarily the quickest players around.
Dazzling skill early on from Vinicius Jr. Headed the ball down to himself. He's continued to run through the middle. It's wide with Rafinha on the right-hand side. Brazil going through the gears early on. Low cross comes into that Serbian penalty area, and it is cleared. And I think that ball will run out for a throw-in to Brazil on the right. 3.5 minutes in, 5 live and BBC sounds. And this is Brazil against Serbia live in full from the Lusail Stadium. Lusail actually is a city itself just north of Doha, and I think you can hear that atmosphere wherever you're listening to us this evening coming through. And throwing for Serbia now, inside their own half on the left. Mladenovic takes it. Milinkovic-Savic on the turn. Fully the ball forward into the Brazilian half. Alisson is able to collect that under no pressure at all. I think he's had a little haircut and a sort of trim. He's got rid of the beard and gone to the sort of handlebar moustache for this World Cup. He's all like Brazil have lost the ball inside their own half, and then Vinicius Jr. was very quick to come and win that back for Brazil, trying to dribble across his own half, tackled by Milinkovic-Savic. Another challenge from Milinkovic-Savic there. Qatar thought he should have had a free kick, but it's actually gone out for a throw into Serbia on the halfway line on the left.
Yeah, Vinicius Jr. doing well initially. Milinkovic-Savic, but Milinkovic-Savic doing the same back. Just got to get a foothold in this game, the Serbians. Brazil started with great intensity. Games haven't we so far, but this is the atmosphere. You feel it.
Yeah. Senegal, Netherlands, and France, Australia. It didn't quite feel like this one. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Serbia attacking down the right-hand side. Brazil back in numbers to defend. Cross comes into their penalty area. Headed away by Casemiro, who is absolutely vital for Brazil. He was the player that was suspended in their quarter-final defeat against Belgium at the last World Cup, and that was crucial for them on that night. Now, Pavlovic, centre-back, high up the field. Serbia's got caught out. He's desperately trying to win the ball back. He's committed about 3 fouls there. 2 on Qatar, 1 on Neymar, who goes tumbling to the ground. And isn't it wonderful, Chris, as well? You talk about Brazil, you talk about World Cups. That is so iconic. That shirt, isn't it? Yellow shirt, green number 10 on the back. Tim Vickery telling us as well, the sort of the links and the connections between Neymar, his current age, Pele, what he did in the World Cup. Neymar's just 2 goals behind him now as well overall.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of yellow and green shirts, Bruce.
6 minutes gone in the first half.
So Pavlovic now, under pressure. Yellow card.
Do you think that was a yellow card?
There was a couple of fouls there, but the referee has gone early now, hasn't he?
Yes.
And if that is the benchmark, then we're going to see a lot of cards.
Challenges have gone flying in early on in the game. Both teams hugely motivated. Switzerland and Cameroon, the other 2 teams in this group. Switzerland beating Cameroon by 1-0 earlier on today. The noise levels just dipped for the first time since kickoff. Qatar looking for a ball down the right for Rafinha. It's over here. For a goal. Rafinha is only coming to this Brazilian team quite recently as well, Chris. It was sort of Chiche's scouts who alerted him to Rafinha, and he's very quickly become a really important player.
Yeah, and what's telling me this today? It wasn't that long ago that
Started last year.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Goal kick for Serbia. Goalkeeper Vanja Milinkovic-Savic waves his three centre-backs up the field. They are all in red. Red shirts, red shorts, red socks, playing from right to left. Mitrovic nods the ball down. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic on the dribble, just stopped by Marquinhos on the edge of the box. He whacks it away with his right foot. Then gets away from Richarlison as they challenge for the ball. Rafinha comes flying in as well, really committed to the tackles this evening. And the throw-in actually has gone Brazil's way. And then Rafinha is going to come over and have a little bit of afters with Mladenovic.
Yeah, I see on start game, but there should have been a foul on Pavlovic from Richarlison, who wasn't actually looking at the ball, jumped into Pavlovic.
8 minutes gone. All someone's had their shirt taken off. It's Neymar. Now Neymar is exaggerating the challenge on him there. Sasa Lukic was sort of tugging him and pulling him, and his shirt started to come off. And then Neymar, ever the showman here on the big stage, just basically took it off and almost said to him, "Look, you can have this if you want, but maybe after the game." Didn't you say to one of your lads, Chris, you were going to get Neymar's shirt from tonight's game?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't quite telling the truth.
8 minutes gone in the first half. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Lively start to the game, and Serbia are certainly going to play their part. They're a good team. They've qualified for this World Cup brilliantly, finished ahead of Portugal and sent them into the playoffs.
I did give my lad a Ronaldinho shirt, though.
Yeah,
He was at Barcelona. He asked for mine. The Champions League game.
Throw-in for Serbia on the left. Mladenovic takes it. Goodell slightly miscues the pass back to him. Brazil might be away here. Richarlison lays it off to Rafinha. Rafinha again, stretching those long legs out. Away he goes down the right-hand side. Kills a low pass into Neymar. Just flicks it with the outside of his right boot back to Casemiro. Vinicius Junior support on the outside, but he cuts infield. Casemiro, 35 yards out, plays a low, slow pass out to the left, gets it back, and then starts to think about the cross. Switch pass into Neymar. Neymar on the dribble, inside the box, still going. Get away from him and clear the ball up towards Mitrovic, who heads it down. And Mitrovic then chases, but wins the header. Serbia have it. That's Tadic. And now Zivkovic playing the ball forward from the right, and Serbia just slow things down again.
It was good from Brazil, though, wasn't it? A wonderful Casemiro fist into Neymar, who took a head shot. And then the chance, the opening was drawn. The Serbian defenders back in numbers, making it difficult for Neymar to get the shot off. But Casemiro just sitting in that quarterback position. Qatar and Neymar playing higher up in the midfield.
Zivkovic again on the right-hand side, cross comes in, too close to Alisson. That's an easy claim for him on the edge of his 6-yard box.
Yeah, he's a left-footed right wing back. Zivkovic.
10 minutes gone then in the first half. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Just wondering whether Chris forgot our game in Rostov, the Brazil-Switzerland game, their opener in the World Cup, because of all the other things that happened there. You got chased by a pack of dogs when you went for a run. You had your hair cut, didn't you? Breakfast in that hotel was always a little bit scary.
Mitrovic goes down and he's asking for a card, a yellow card, I presume, as Qatar challenge. And we talked about the referee setting the standard earlier.
Yeah, it's the foot as well, isn't it? That's where it is for Mitrovic, and so that Serbia will be concerned about. Brazil 0, Serbia 0.
Do you want to make him angry? Do you poke the bear?
50 goals for his country, Alexander Mitrovic. 50 goals in just 76 international caps, which is an astonishing rate of scoring. Lukic plays the ball back to the edge of his own penalty area. Central midfielder, Goodell, long hair, tied up on the top of his head, trying to get an attacking move going. He's given the ball away. Here's Silva. Across to Marquinhos. Those two obviously have played together plenty of times at international level, plenty of times at club level, at Paris Saint-Germain as well. Now the ball in the centre circle. Across to Danilo. Forward to Paquetá. Just lays it off to Danilo. He's lost it. Tadic tries to take it around Casemiro. He does his job and stops him. Rafinha picks up the next ball and passes back into his own half, and Danilo plays back to Marquinhos.
That's Casemiro all over. Tadic looked to drift past him in the centre of the park when the ball's given away by Brazil, but really strong challenge, well-timed challenge, and Brazil back in possession of the ball. Rafinha and Vinicius Junior staying really wide. Rafinha off that right-hand side. Vinicius Junior off to left. Vinicius Junior, right footer. Rafinha, a left footer. They'll look to come inside and link up.
Brazil looks sharp. Serbia looks sharp too. Brazil have it inside the Serbian half. Neymar plays it out wide here to Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior uses a bit of skill, beats his man on the outside, still going down by the byline, chased hard, sliding challenge on him, and it goes out for a Brazilian corner. Their first of the game, Brazil 0, Serbia 0.
Yeah, it's brilliant wing play. It really is. Everybody's talking about Neymar coming into the tournament, but Vinicius Junior is the one to watch for me for Brazil. Drove the outside then, likes to come inside on his right foot, but giving Zivkovic something to think about.
Neymar gets ready to take the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellow shirts inside that Serbian penalty. He goes for goal, Neymar. And the ball goes straight up in the air. Keeper, I think, got a touch. It's going to be another corner.
You say he went for goal there?
He goes for goal from the corner, Chris. He curls it in.
Was it just a bad corner?
Maybe he'll have another go. By the way, Milinkovic-Savic, goalkeeper, is the second tallest player in the competition, so you do well to lob him from anywhere. Neymar taking the corner from the left with his right foot, and there he is, the big man. Milinkovic-Savic makes a good clean catch with both hands. One of the Serbian defenders has collided with the post. That's Pavlovic, who's on the yellow card. So he's slowly getting himself to his feet. The great line from Chicho, the Brazilian Neymar, which I loved in the build-up to the World Cup, Chris. Neymar is both bow and arrow. The creator, but also the finisher.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's hope he is known for his driving as well, not his diving.
Milinkovic-Savic has the ball in hand. The Serbian goalkeeper, who got a good fist on that Neymar corner, which led to the second corner. Serbia have dealt with that. Pavlovic looking a little shaky at left-sided centre-back. He's just passed the ball straight out of play. Brazil take the throw inside their own half. Ball back with Marquinhos. Just a miscued pass. Alisson does well to keep that in play and save it from going out for a corner. Control on the left-hand side by Mladenovic. Does well. Rafinha plays the ball back into central midfield. And here's Sasa Lukic. Out to the right to Zivkovic, who, as Chris says, is the left footer playing on the right. You can see again there, he was trying to get into position to try and hit an in-swing cross with the left foot. Serbia come back to the halfway line. Milos Veljkovic is the middle of the three centre-backs, who was formerly a Tottenham player who didn't get too much game time, now plays at Werder Bremen. Here's Pavlovic, who's a hulking great centre-back and wears the number 2. Goodell, across the centre circle to Milenkovic, right side centre back. Brazil forcing Serbia back towards their own goal here, and they've had to come back to their keeper Milinkovic-Savic, who's actually just outside his penalty area. So they'll start to build again. Veljkovic to his right, that goes to Milenkovic. Back it comes to the goalkeeper. This time he goes with a high first-time clearance downfield. Alexandro leaps to win the header. Milinkovic-Savic, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, was a tall man in the middle of the park for Serbia. Already over 300 appearances for his club Lazio.
Good player. He's been heavily linked, hasn't he, with Premier League clubs now for a number of seasons. And you see, he's the one who really drifts forward with Goodell. Just sitting behind him, trying to make the play, but it's a feature of his game, which he's very good at, Milinkovic-Savic.
Serbia keeping the ball well. They've won a cheap free kick, I would say, there. That's Zivkovic who's gone down. Not saying it's a situation game, but it didn't need much contact. Little tug of the shirt and down he went. Do want to have a look at the old Ronaldo penalty today, Chris? Not seen that yet, just seen still images. Portugal beat Ghana by 3-2. Ronaldo scoring one of those in the top score at 5 separate World Cup tournaments. Plays across to Thiago Silva. Some fabulous football commentaries on the way for you tomorrow on 5 Live and BBC Sound, starting with Wales against Iran from 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That also on BBC television. So again, via the iPlayer World Cup Extra, you can get the pictures, you can get the 5 Live commentary. That'll be Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin tomorrow. Free kick for Brazil just inside the Serbian half. 16 minutes gone, they take it short. Neymar, walking pace. then just sweeps the ball with his right foot to beat one man. Header won by Richarlison, but Brazil can't keep it. Milinkovic Savic to Goodell. Goodell 1-2, then gets a pass out to the right. Pressure on from Neymar. Loose ball into the Serbian penalty area. Goalkeeper gives it a good shout. Milinkovic Savic gets there in time and actually gets Serbia away down the left here. Mladenovic just rolls it forward to Dusan Tadic. Tadic on the turn, gets to Qatar. Plays back to Lukic, and Serbia again back into their own half.
He did well, didn't he? Milinkovic Savic, the goalkeeper, just at the right time getting there and popping the ball out left. Just trying to get a foothold in this game and make some passes, the Serbians. As I say, the thing they really lack is great pace in this team.
Mitrovic very nearly finds the ball. Mitrovic gives it the old, how didn't you control that? I mean, he was at full flight and trying to control it in midair. Had he been able to bring it down, he might have been able to get across into the penalty area. Throw in for Brazil, left back position. Neymar takes it down well on his chest, tackled. 3 or 4 rolls from Neymar, stays down. Free kick. I don't know whether the referee is playing advantage. Vinicius Junior is then tackled, so it's whether it's going to be a throw in Brazil or a free kick.
He did play an advantage, okay, and it was a foul. But why we can count the rolls here, can't we? That's 1, 2.
They stopped the replay. There were more than that, weren't there?
Yeah.
That hurts, Chris, when you get tackled like that.
But just go down. You'd have to roll over 5 times. Dear me.
Free kick for Brazil.
I really hope for his sake as well. He's not known for his diving antics in this World Cup. He's a brilliant player, but that's something which he's always done, but needs to cut out of his game.
Third World Cup for Neymar. 4 goals for him in 2014, but through injury missed the semi-final. The humiliation at the hands of Germany. Knocked out in 2018 in that brilliant quarter-final against Belgium. Here they are trying to win a 6th World Cup. Qatar edge of the area. Pass by Milinkovic Savic tries to bring the ball away. His pass is intercepted. Marquinhos just chases the ball back.
So when they're out of possession, they'll shape up as a back 5, the Serbians, 3 in the midfield. But when they win the ball back, you talk about that lack of pace, which is so essential to counter-attack. Mitrovic doesn't have the pace, neither does Tadic. Tadic is such a talented footballer, really is a wizard. Great passer, he's a finisher as well. They need that pace.
Qatar looking for Neymar, was trying to let that ball run across his body. That was Milinkovic who stepped in to intercept, but Brazil comes straight back at Serbia. Vinicius Junior has looked really good at the start of this game. Lays it off to Neymar, 25 yards out. Might fancy this one. Neymar hits the drive, and it's blocked by Belgium. I thought Velkovic blocked and Richarlison caught one as he went running into the rebound, but you're right, he's down holding his face. I didn't realise they call him the Piombo, the pigeon, Richarlison. Brazilian teammates. That's something I discovered in the research for the game as well.
And why is that?
I don't know, Chris. He was in very good form, though, for the player pronunciation videos, because he stands in front of the camera and he goes, Richie, with a big smile on his face. You don't often see him smiling like that, but he's in a good mood here at the World Cup. Brazil are flowing, they're coming forward. Vinicius Junior plays the ball back to Casemiro, 30 yards out. He's going to hit one. Oh, Milinkovic Savic makes the save, half spills it, but no one there to get on the rebound. Brazil 0, Serbia 0.
Yeah, it's not like Milinkovic Savic, Serbian goalkeeper, needed his hands warming in Qatar, but there's a decent strike from Casemiro. 30 yards out, put his laces through the ball, but straight at the goalkeeper.
Milinkovic Savic clears. Now that's something obviously Mitrovic does have, the ability to win that long ball. He nodded it down, so he lost possession. Qatar plays a low pass to Alexandro. His ball forward down the left of Vinicius Junior. Doesn't find him. Serbia intercept now for them possibly to attack. Lukic. Lukic plays to the right. It's picked up by Tadic. Tadic running forward down the inside right. Lost that a little too easily. Here's Thiago Silva.
Vinicius Junior really working back very, very well. pick the ball up again.
He's in the mood, isn't he? Yeah, look him go. He's made 30, 40 yards up the left. He's then lost it in a tackle on the halfway line. They're getting the ball, well, Rafinha as well, wide to Vinicius Junior and Rafinha, and they are really just going for it. Ball back inside the Serbian half. Midway through the first half, 5 Live and BBC Sounds from the World Cup here in Doha. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. This time tomorrow night we'll be stuck into England's next game in this tournament after the thumping win against Iran. They play the USA tomorrow night. John Murray will be alongside Rob Green and Chris's good pal Micah Richards, part of the commentary team tomorrow night. And then Chris will be taking the calls after the game on 6:06. Neymar with a bit of closing down there, blocks the clearance and the ball goes out for a Serbian throw.
We were, talking about this earlier, weren't we? About, which Brazil will we see? Will they sit deep? Jim Vickery says they are going to press high. It's a different type of Brazilian team. If you want to win this World Cup, you've got to work hard out of possession. I think the game has, certainly changed, hasn't it, in that respect? And you can't carry players and passengers out of possession. And Neymar putting a shift in. Yeah.
High bouncing ball comes over to the left-hand side in Serbia's half. Mladenovic pokes a little pass to Milinkovic-Savic. Back to Mladenovic. Rafinha's in, chasing again, trying to win those tackles. Milinkovic-Savic, tight spot for it. Wide on the left, keeps it in play. Like you lose it to Marquinhos. Rafinha will chase this down the left-hand side. Pavlovic gets his body in the way. Rafinha can't quite muscle his way round. And it goes behind for the goal kick.
He got slightly lucky, didn't he? Pavlovic. Rafinha nearly kept that in. Tried to use his body and just ease Rafinha out on the byline.
Did enough, exactly, did enough. He's on the yellow card, so he's got to be careful. Serbia played the ball up towards the halfway line. Milinkovic-Savic tried to flick it on, didn't get any contact on it. Mladenovic just nods it down inside his own half. Gudel sticks out a letter forward. Only as far as Thiago Silva. Wide it comes here to Danilo. Danilo plays back to Marquinhos. Marquinhos, the low pass out to the left back, Alexandro. Down that touchline to Vinicius Junior. This time, Zivkovic gets close, doesn't allow him to run. So Brazil play back to the two centre-backs. Thiago Silva and Marquinhos exchange passes. 25 minutes gone in the first half. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Alexandro down the left to Vinicius Junior. Intercepted. Milinkovic-Savic with a chance to spin and play a little pass to the right-hand side. And Serbia coming on the counter here, getting men forward. Mitrovic in the middle will jump for it. Alisson comes out and makes the catch.
He does brilliantly, Alisson. His anticipation is exceptional. It's a cross from the right-hand side, and Tadic is looking for Mitrovic at the far post. And Mitrovic so good in the air. And he stands the ball up, and Alisson off his line like a wicket. And clutches the ball probably 8 yards from his line. Really good anticipation. He's one of the Liverpool players this season who has had a good start to the season.
Long diagonal looking for Rafinha. Pavlovic heads it away. Brazil get a throw on the right-hand side. If Serbia do manage to beat Brazil tonight, it will be the first opening game Brazil have lost at the World Cup since 1934.
I was going to say that.
First two World Cups.
Who was that against?
They lost their opening game each time against Yugoslavia, funnily enough, and then 1934 against Spain. Since then, unbeaten in 19 opening games, winning 16 of them. 20 minutes to go in the first half, and here's Vinicius Junior of Real Madrid just caressing a pass back to Thiago Silva. Brazilians, as ever, looking after the football. Danilo back to Marquinhos. First time ball finds Thiago Silva. Controls it. Plays it forward to Neymar. Neymar's allowed to turn. Looks for a little bit of skill. Stopped in his tracks. Tadic onto it for Serbia. He's lost it. So Brazil can start again from the halfway line. Qatar picks up. Little spin and a pass from him to Danilo. Danilo, bit of space here in the inside right channel. Wide to Rafinha. And Rafinha plays back to Marquinhos. Across to Casemiro a little further forward.
Yeah, Alexandro and Danilo, more back supports. Rafinha and Vinicius Junior up, not really getting on beyond them.
Nice crisp pass from Rafinha, played into Danilo, who's in a central midfield position. Thiago Silva looking for Vinicius Junior, goalkeeper quickly off his line, gets both hands to the ball, and then races out up to his feet and clears with his right foot.
That's top goalkeeping. It really is.
Brazil take the throw in quickly. Milenkovic in hard with the challenge on Vinicius Jr. Then he gives Neymar a shot. Then the referee eventually decides to give the free kick, and the Serbians aren't happy about it. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. That was great goalkeeping.
Yeah, but that's when Brazil look at their most dangerous. There's a couple of times now Vinicius Jr. has made that run. There's Thiago Silva with a slide rule pass, and Vinicius Jr. in off the left-hand side between wing-back and centre-half. And Milinkovic-Savic off his line really quickly. And he throws himself, slides out and gets a big right hand, an enormous right hand on the ball, pushes it away.
Free kick for Brazil, level with the edge of the Serbian penalty area, wide on the left-hand side. Neymar could be the one to strike it. In the game, in the group game in Russia 4.5 years ago, Thiago got on the score sheet in the 2-0 win. It was the final group game that time. Neymar's face is wreathed in sweat, etched with concentration. Could be a curling ball from the left boot of Rafinha as well. Thiago Silva's in there, Richarlison's in there, Marquinhos is in there. Taken short, Neymar on the dribble, plays it to Rafinha, down by the byline, overhits the cross beyond everyone. He was at full stretch, and it's gone out for a throw into Serbia on the left.
It wasn't a Brazilian-like cross, was it? I think Neymar had a little 2v1 from the free kick on that left-hand side. Neymar had overweighted the pass to Rafinha, who then tried to stand up across from the inside the box near the byline, and must have chipped that all of 40, 50 yards, one bounce, a throw in to Serbia halfway inside their half.
Almost going up to the half-hour BBC sounds. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Martin Keown is sitting not too far away from us, former England international, worked for BBC television this evening. Chris, you were sort of getting into his roots before the game, reminding him about a 3-1 Blackburn win against Arsenal, which he wasn't taking. He blamed Tony Adams, didn't he?
Yeah. Tony Adams not here to defend himself.
Absolutely right.
Of course. And that's what footballers do, Bruce.
I've discovered, Chris, sharing a flat with you.
Like everybody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even had a bowl of, I cooked you steak last night. You finished up 2 helpings, steak, rice, broccoli and salad, and then you get straight up and you went and had a bowl of cornflakes.
Yeah. Measly steak, wasn't it?
Neymar.
3 mouthfuls, that was it.
Neymar plays wide to Vinicius Jr. Infield to Casemiro. Casemiro with the loft one over the top. Tadic gets in the way and blocks it. The ball is back with Casemiro just inside the Serbian half. Goes for a similar pass. Rafinha might get on the end of this. Heads it across goal and then headed away and behind for a corner by Veljkovic.
Yeah, so we talked about the run from Vinicius Jr. off that left-hand side. Likes to make that run inside the wing-back. The opposite side, Rafinha making a run behind the Serbian line, heading the ball across, and Veljkovic did really well, actually. Got the situation well, took no chances, headed it behind.
Milinkovic-Savic being vociferous and forceful inside a 6-yard box. Corner comes in low to the near post. It was aimed for Richarlison. Last touch came off Mladenovic. It's gone behind for another corner. Rafinha will take. Vinicius Jr. is lurking on the edge of the D. If anything comes out there to try and hit the strike, might go short here to Qatar. Qatar spotted an opportunity. Lovely back heel to Rafinha. Low cross. Oh, nearly connected with the near post in the end. It's in the arms of the goalkeeper, Milinkovic-Savic. And it was the 38-year-old Thiago Silva sliding in at the near post like a young Chris Sutton.
Yeah, he's having a good game, isn't he? The Serbian goalkeeper so far, really good handling.
Great run here on the right by Zivkovic. Now that is a bit embarrassing. He did well initially. He's then lost it, thrown himself to the free kick, doesn't get the decision. Qatar rolls a pass down the left. That's blocked, goes out for a Brazilian throw.
Zivkovic,
come on. He's better than that.
Yeah, he is better than that.
Sorry to steal the catchphrase. Here's Vinicius Jr. I think the ball's gone out for a throw-in to Brazil on the left-hand side. Come on, Zivkovic, get back in the game here. Your team needs you. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Chris and Robbie back with 6:06, as I said, tomorrow night after England-USA. Our 4 more World Cup commentaries coming your way tomorrow. 10 o'clock, Wales-Iran. 1 o'clock, Qatar against Senegal. in Group A. Netherlands, Ecuador. I've not got you for that one, Chris. I'm with Matt Hudson for that one tomorrow at 4 o'clock. England, USA at 7. 5 Live, your World Cup station. Coverage of every single game on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 13 minutes remaining in the first half. Fascinating tussle here between South America and Europe. And Neymar's trying to be clever with a sort of nutmeg back heel on Tadic. And Tadic isn't having it. And Neymar's battling for the ball on the floor, and Lukic goes sliding in on Alexandro, and Alexandro gives it a couple of tumbles, and the referee says, "Get up, throw in Brazil."
Yeah, Neymar there trying to be a bit of a show pony. The crowd in the stadium enjoying that, trying to not make one of the Serbian midfielders with a back heel. And the Serbians are saying, "We're not having that."
It's about entertainment, though, Chris. I love it.
Yeah, well, it's about being effective, Bruce.
It is. With Danilo.
It's all right being pretty, you need to punch.
Fine. Back at Alexandro to Vinicius Jr. Will this be the Brazilian punch? Neymar with a flick. Couldn't find Vinicius Jr. Cross comes in. That one's headed away by Veljkovic. Ball bounces midway inside the Serbian half. Collected here by Marquinhos. Every single outfield player inside the Serbian half to our right at the moment. Neymar picks the ball up in space. First touch actually let him down. Then he goes tumbling. Goodell, no foul.
Just coming back at the moment, though, isn't it? The Serbians cannot get up the pitch.
I think Brazil sense it as well. They're pressing forward. Thiago Silva well forward in this attack. Richarlison, lovely layoff to the right. Danilo crossing to that penalty area, looking for Neymar. Cleared, first time. Mitrovic looks for a little layoff. Tadic heads it to his left. Alexandro read it well. Beats Mitrovic in the air. Nods it back into his own
problem is when the ball goes up to Mitrovic, he's isolated. They need to get players in and around him for the knockdowns.
Well, two tasks with that, Tadic and Milinkovic-Savic, who are kind of the two supports, and then backs obviously Zivkovic on the right and Livic on the left. Now there's a lovely back heel again to Richarlison. Out wide to Rafinha. Rafinha on his left foot, 25 yards out. Paquetá, oh, back to Rafinha! Weak shot straight at the keeper. What a chance that was for Brazil. And Milinkovic-Savic breathes a sigh of relief.
What a pass it is, though. Back to Rafinha, and it's a really weak finish. Takes a brilliant first touch. And then on his favoured left foot, you're expecting the net to bulge. Hands on his head. To the inside of his left foot as well. He could just feed that into the far corner. It gets it horribly wrong. The kick comes more or less off his heel.
Yeah.
And it just trickles into the Serbian keeper's arms. That was the best chance of the game.
Just took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say that's the best chance of the game so far. Brazil 0, Serbia 0.
Qatar with the pass, was it? It's a wonderful pass.
I can't remember. That was a
Really wonderful pass.
a minute ago. Richarlison battling for it here with Pavlovic. Serbia come out on top. Lukic forward to Goodell. Oh, nice touch from Tadic, edge of the area. Wants a free kick, doesn't get it. Rafinha with a little touch. Goodell in with the challenge, knocks the ball out of play. Brazilian throw on the right hand side. Brazil have only lost 2 of 47 competitive internationals under the man in the light blue suit down there, Chiche. 1 against Belgium, World Cup quarter-final, last time around. 1 against Argentina on home turf at the Maracanã in the Copa America final last year, which really will have hurt. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Talking about light blue suits, there's a fella doing some television stuff ahead of the game in the most outrageously shocking pink suit at the start of this. I mean, he looked $1 million, but couldn't see you in that, Chris. Pink suit, white trainers. He looked fantastic. Lovely, rich golden tan as well. Nice ball out to the right-hand side for Zivkovic. Bit space to bring it forward for Serbia. Up to the corner of the penalty area. Zivkovic gets the return pass. Now the cross comes in towards the far post. Mladenovic attacks it with the header. It's gone well wide. That's a goal kick for Brazil. We're into the last 10 minutes of the first half. Brazil 0, Serbia 0.
Yeah. Better from the Serbians. It was an underlap, wasn't it, from Zivkovic? Put in a good crossing position, but with his weaker right foot, ballooned the cross really to the far post. You like balloon, don't you?
Yeah, we've got to cross that off the list now because we've used it. And now this falls for Tadic. 30 yards out, central position, lays it off to Zivkovic. Milinkovic-Savic wants it edge of the box. Zivkovic back to Goodell. Nice football from Serbia here. Can they pack a punch? Can they test Alisson? Can they find Mitrovic with something meaningful in the middle. Lukic, just inside the Brazilian half, across to the left-sided centre-back, Pavlovic. Thought about rumbling forward there at speed and then stopped in his tracks and played it back to Veljkovic. Across to Milenkovic, into the feet of his central midfielder, Lukic. Starts to glide forward, trying to find Zivkovic on that right-hand side. Brazil are able to shepherd the ball out of play, but the throw-in goes Serbia's way.
They haven't really shown that belief, the Serbians, in the final third now. That sharpness of passing.
Neymar was questioning that decision there, wasn't he? Almost giving it, do you know who I am? And the assistant referee was having none of it. Throw in Serbia. Serbia have it inside their half. Brazil 0, Serbia 0, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. All the reaction, all the debate, all the analysis after another fascinating day of World Cup football here in Qatar. Available for you by the BBC Sounds app and the World Cup Daily podcast.
Mitrovic giving Pavlovic the real. He's not happy with that pass, but Mitrovic should have made the run in the channel and given him an option.
Casemiro, just inside the Serbian half. Marquinhos comes forward, central position, finds Neymar, looks for the 1-2 with Paquetá, doesn't come off. Brazil get possession again. Here's Danilo. Danilo to Neymar. With a real joyful bounce to his movement inside this stadium, enjoying the game, enjoying the show, enjoying being the centre of attention. Take Brazil to the Hex, as they call it. Brazil, the 6, the Hex. World Cup title. Marquinhos up towards the halfway line, stops dead, plays across to Thiago Silva. Guy with a giant aerial, it's just TV aerial, just walked in front of us. They're not relying on him to provide footage around the world. That looks like one on the TV set. Marquinhos. Brazil working to the right. Rafinha, nice pass. Through the legs of the defender. Paquetá crossing towards Richarlison. Good defending at the near post. Prevents Richarlison getting the shot away. Serbia try and turn it into a counter-attack. Long stride of Milinkovic-Savic up towards the halfway line.
You are. Tadic making the forward run, but no great pace. Serbia have been good. The 3 centre-halves defended crosses very well.
Yeah.
Like 3 doormen, aren't they? Belgrade nightclub.
Pavlovic in particular has that look about him. When I saw him close up in the tunnel, I thought, "Four."
He was down to the Brazilians. You're not coming in.
He's not down, Neymar. Yeah, he's a rugged. He's the very definition of a rugged centre back. Serbia have got some lovely footballers in this team as well. Gudel, cross here to one of those bouncers. Pavlovic plays back to his goalkeeper, who could be another one actually. Milinkovic-Savic, 6'8" tall, the only player taller than him at this World Cup we've seen. Andries Noppert, the Dutch goalkeeper.
The Dutch debutant, wasn't it?
Correct. Ball wide, played infield to Milinkovic-Savic. Gudel's just made a nice little run forward into space, collects it just outside the Brazilian area, lost it to Paquetá. Thiago Silva passed up through the middle to Casemiro. Quick ball over the top. Vinicius Junior is chasing that bouncing ball. All stretched there from Milinkovic, didn't get it. Vinicius Junior has missed. And he goes behind for a goal kick. Hits it with his right foot on the half volley. He claims he should have had at least a corner. Doesn't get the decision. And Milinkovic, who sort of, his clearance, I think, hit himself in the face, very nearly gave Vinicius Junior the chance. Oops.
That's a good shout, that. Milinkovic, it was a long diagonal ball. I think it was Casemiro, wasn't it? And as the ball bounces, Milinkovic gets there first, his outstretched right leg, trying to hook the ball back over his shoulder. All it does, it falls into the path of Vinicius Junior, but credit Milinkovic, he gets back and makes the block. It should have been a Brazilian corner.
Do you think so? I think he made the block and then Vinicius Junior got a touch. Cross comes in towards Mitrovic just over his head. But I think Zivkovic might be able to keep this in if he can run at the speed of light. He got nowhere near it. That's gone out for a throw.
But nearly. Mitrovic catches Thiago Silva. It's a diagonal ball. The ball whipped in from the left-hand side and just over Mitrovic's head. He's good very good. Peels away from Thiago Silva, tries to get out of his eye line. The cross comes in.
Oh, Neymar's down by the byline, got a shove in the back. He'll take that all day long. Silly chance, really. He's under pressure there, deep in his own left back position, just waiting for the contact from Zivkovic and wins the free kick. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Can't see too much added time coming on at the end of the first half here, but you know,
what's too much of this World Cup?
I know. Brazil 0.
Are we going to see another 0-0?
Serbia 0. I've not added them all up, but there was Uruguay, South Korea today, which said on the BBC Sport website, very entertaining. You know, you can have entertaining 0-0s, Chris. Danilo, pass forward. Danilo gets another chance, fucks it away high in the sky. Headed forward by Milenkovic. Pass is knocked out to the left, intercepted by Qatar. Qatar to Casemiro, onto Neymar. Neymar knobs it down, keeps control. Chased by a whole horde of Richard Serbs, and is able to hold them on. Find Rafinha with a bit of skill on the right, and then just let the ball get away from him. He thought of backing the cross and decided to go for one more cutback. Couldn't control it.
It was really clever the way he manoeuvred the ball at first. Changed to go inside on his left foot, dragged it on the outside of Pavlovic, but just overran it. You could see Neymar, close attention, drift past 4 Serbians in the middle of the park and popped the ball out to that right-hand side.
75 goals for the Seleção Neymar. Pele on 77. Will this World Cup be the time when Neymar gets there and possibly goes past? It's always your route of it, Kevin.
Yeah, but talk of this being his last World Cup, it's now or never, really, isn't it?
Well, I was thinking that going into this one, Chris, because Chicho has said that. Thiago Silva will be the same for him. And the amount of players that are on the last dance here, honestly, that dance floor is absolutely rammed. Ronaldo, Messi, possibly Lewandowski. It'd be difficult to find room out there. Brazil have given the ball away. Tadic, nice little drag, keeps the ball under the studs of his left boot, wide to Zivkovic.
Everybody's in the box here.
Milenkovic Savic looking for Tadic, was off balance, couldn't control it. Allison picks it up. We've got a minute left of normal time in the first half. Very enjoyable. We hope you're enjoying with us wherever you are. On 5 Live and BBC Sounds, Neymar's on the move through that Serbian midfield. Can't find Rafinha with the pass. Serbia have cleared the danger for now. Brazil will go again with Danilo. Danilo to Casemiro. Across to Qatar. Qatar to Alexandro. Little layoff from Neymar. This time just decides to give it straight away and move off into space. Back it comes to Casemiro. Midway inside the half. Rafinha. Lovely bit of skill. Little shirt tug on him. Not bothered. Shrugs off the defender. Plays the ball across to the left. 1 minute of added time. I can't believe it. Alexandro, wide to Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior, very nearly slipped one through to Neymar.
Brilliant from Gudel. Well, Vinicius Junior, in those duels to create something, produce a bit of magic. They're not the marauding Brazil, the overlaps, which we've seen in the past.
That is the difference, isn't it, Chris? And we were talking about this with Tim Vickery about, you know, the likes of Cafu and Roberto Carlos and Carlos Alberto.
Who would just fly, crosses in, shots in.
Yeah. These fullbacks in this iteration, the Brazil
they're getting on a bit, but I mean that's no excuse for that. As I said earlier, they're more back support, supporting the play, playing behind them.
Danilo is one of them. Plays the ball across to Thiago Silva. 10 seconds remaining in this first half. Looks like we're going to go in goalless. Alexandro has the ball wide on the left. Brazil have had lots and lots of possession. Referee decides that is it for the first half. Blows his whistle. And it's goalless. Chris, best chance of the game fell to Rafinha. It was brilliantly worked. He just didn't apply the finish. But Serbia have shown, as we knew, they've got enough to challenge Brazil here.
Yeah, they said before the game, this is a streetwise Serbian team. I think the 3 centre halves have been absolutely brilliant. I've described them as 3 Belgradian doormen, and they've been pretty watertight. That one opportunity, the chance of the showed a real lack of conviction, but that's been it for Brazil. They've got to show more in the second half, and I'm sure that Chiche, he'll be looking at his bench and thinking, are there enough players on my bench? I think there are who can change this game, because that hasn't happened at this moment in time. For Serbia, they've really struggled to get up the pitch. They've lacked pace. Mitrovic and Tadic aren't speed merchants, but I think they'll go in at half-time. If this is the game plan, we're going to keep things nice and tight, and we're going to try and counter, or maybe pitch a goal off a set piece or whatever, I think it's gone okay for them.
So, Kelly, to extend that rather tortuous analogy, the doorman doing a great job at the last dance. Brazil can't get onto the dance floor. Brazil 0, Serbia 0.
You're obsessed with the dance floor tonight. Somebody's going to have to take Alex for his ball out dancing, and I think it might have to be you, Chris Sutton. Tim Vickery is with us. Tim Vickery is with us this evening as well, and we'll be back to the Lusail Stadium with Ali and with Chris very shortly. Half of that game. Tim, it feels as though Brazil are warming up into this World Cup, but the potential that's there for them to have a lot of fun on the pitch is there.
Yes, although I think there's been a lack of midfield elaboration. I don't think the coach is entirely convinced by what they're doing. I spent a couple of hours with them just a few weeks ago, and they have it's called a technical commission. It's a group. It's the coach and all of his assistants. And they were remarkably open about this dilemma that they had, who to leave out. Should you leave out Fred or should you leave out Vinicius Jr.? They've gone with the ultra-attacking. I really don't think the coach believes in this 100%. I think he has doubts about this. I think he's given, or the majority have been against him, so he's gone along with it. Yesterday, I was intrigued by something that he said in a reference. He lose games in midfield, and I wonder if that's a message to his colleagues on his coaching staff as much as anyone else, because I think that there's a lack of elaboration. As you saw that the first half hour, Qatar and Neymar are too far apart. They had a little reorganisation, and they moved it from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-1-3. Qatar over to the other side of the field, the left, closer to Neymar, to try and have more elaboration. But I get the impression that the coach he selected a side. Now, it's the first game, so he's got some margin for error. But he's selected a side in which there are members of his coaching staff who believe in his lineup more than he does.
And there are coaches who've done this before. They've called players into squads. They've started players maybe in friendlies. And this, as the opening match of the World Cup, is a step up from that. But it's still, as you say, the opening match of the tournament, Brazil. And they do it sometimes to make a point, to say, look, I've tried what you've told me. I've told you it doesn't work, and now you can see for yourself it doesn't work. It might well be that there's going to be changes in the second half, and it could be different for the rest of the tournament going forward.
Yes, originally, the coach was against the idea of a centre forward. He wanted to play with two open wingers and Neymar as a false nine, and he was outvoted on that one. The problem that they've had is throwing Richarlison into the game. That's been much easier for them in the easier games. In this game, where those doormen have been standing outside saying your name's not on the list, you can't get in, it's been much harder for them to get Richarlison into the game. So, now Gabriel Jesus is a player who offers more in terms of elaboration than Richarlison does. Richarlison is there as a penalty area specialist, to do nothing else but to look at the goal like a racehorse with blinkers and bang. That's what he is. They know that's what he is. That's what he does. But they haven't been able to get him in the game. If you're looking for more elaboration, well, Gabriel Jesus, he hasn't really been in the picture recently. But he is a centre forward who gives you a little bit more, an extra man in a circuit of passing on the edge of the area. That's one possible change. The World Cup, it's like time speeded up, isn't it? Some sides can suddenly come together, or they can suddenly fall apart. And if Brazil go all the way, I doubt that the 11 that start the competition will be the 11 that finish it.
And we need to remember, Tim, that the build-up to this has been quite disruptive for Brazil.
Well, it's certainly been disruptive.
Patchy, rather, yeah.
Yeah, it's been disruptive or patchy in political terms. I think the coach hated the idea that Neymar came out and said he would dedicate the first goal he scored in the competition to Bolsonaro. And how can the defense say football and politics don't mix? The star player there is making a point of mixing them. But the idea is to isolate the team from all of that. And the main thing is to put that sixth star on the shirt, as Neymar already did on shorts and got accused of arrogance by the German press. But if you're going to put a sixth star on, you've got to have 5 first, and Brazil have that 5 first. I think that gives them every right to be arrogant.
Absolutely. There is a United fan saying, not arrogant, just better. And Brazil are just successful at the World Cup. They do have those 5 stars. They're looking for a 6th. Finding it a bit difficult to get through past Serbia in the first half this evening at the Lusail Stadium. Thank you very much to Tim Vickery for now. We'll be back there for second half commentary very shortly as that gets underway. But it's goalless between Brazil and Serbia at half-time in this game. We're going to look back on Portugal's game against Ghana earlier on after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
Take the World Cup with you, Qatar 2022 on BBC Sound. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A child safeguarding board has apologised for failures in the case of a 5-year-old boy murdered by relatives in Bridgend. A review into Logan Wanke's death found hospital doctors failed to report injuries he suffered months before he died, including a broken arm. A man has been charged with the murder of a woman and 2 children after a fire in their flat in Nottingham. Fatumata Haidara and her daughters Fatima and Naima all died from smoke inhalation. Jamie Barrow, who's 31, is due in court tomorrow. A child thought to be 6 years old has died and another has been taken to hospital after a bacteria outbreak at a primary school in Surrey. It's believed both children caught an infection on Tuesday. All pupils and staff there have been given antibiotics. A Metropolitan Police officer previously accused of 44 sex offences has now been charged with another 9 against one person. David Carrick, who's 47, faces 53 charges against 13 complaints. And 500,000 more people came to the UK than left in the year to June, the highest number on record. The Office for National Statistics says it's probably down to more students arriving and refugees coming over from Afghanistan and Ukraine.
For 7 decades,
thousands of songs
have soundtracked the lives of generations of us.
But there's only ever been
one official countdown,
marking the 70th birthday of the UK's official singles chart.
We're playing the most streamed number 1s from 1952 to 2022. That's 7 playlists bursting with hits. Company exclusively for BBC Sound, the UK's official most streamed songs.
To listen, open BBC Sound's Tap Music
and play most streamed chart. BBC 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022 with Kelly Cates.
And we'll be back to the Lusail Stadium very shortly for the second half of Brazil against Serbia. As Brazil get their World Cup campaign underway, they've got 5 stars on their shirt. They're looking for a 6th at the moment. It's goalless between Brazil and Serbia. Earlier today, Portugal started their World Cup campaign with a 3-2 win over Ghana. Let's remind ourselves of the goals, and we'll start with a penalty from the star man for Portugal.
He's looking towards his left. He now begins a stuttering run-up. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't miss. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't miss. He runs away. There is the trademark celebration. The bootleg goes down. Stadium 9 serves. João Felix. What a finish that was from João Felix. João Felix with a composed finish. Flips it past the goalkeeper. And Portugal are back in front. Bruno Fernandes, and the ball comes in, and Portugal just back another one. Portugal to Rafael Leao. First time finish right footed, guides the ball into the far right hand side to score his first goal for his country.
So it was nervy at the end for Portugal. Ghana with a really good chance to try and win it after an error from Costa in the Portugal goal. Bernardo Silva summed it up.
Very happy, difficult game as we expected. Two different halves. First one we controlled better the game in terms of the possession. Maybe we weren't aggressive enough. Second half we scored the first one, then when we conceded the goal, the game started being a bit weird in terms of, before it was like a more controlled game, and then it started like a transition game for both teams, which ended up being a good thing for us, because with our striker running, we scored 2 goals that way. But at the end, it was a little bit closer than it should have been. Is that fair to say? At the end, it was a bit difficult for us, especially outside. I was very nervous, but 3 points and a very good way to start this competition.
Just what's this World Cup like
everything going on, but just as the tournament, the first week, you're glad you got the game out of the way, and now you just concentrate on the football because you're going to be one of the favourites, aren't you?
Well, I hope so. Not one of the favourites, but one of the teams that have a lot of ambition to go far and to try and win it. Yeah, very good to start well with a win. Very happy to get the 3 points, knowing that sometimes you get surprised in these competitions, like we saw with some teams in those first games.
That was Bernardo Silva with George Cummings, and of course it was all about the team performance, but Ronaldo making headlines once again. He got the opening goal in the game from the penalty spot, and he's become the first man to score at 5 World Cups. He scored at Germany in 2006, in South Africa 2010, Brazil 2014, Russia 2018, and now at Qatar 2022. Only 4 players have scored at 4 World Cups, which was his previous record. Pelé did it, Miroslav Klose did it, and Lionel Messi, of course, with 4. He missed out on South Africa in 2010. He has been in the headlines for off-field stuff in recent weeks, but Ruben Neves paid tribute to Cristiano Ronaldo after the match.
It's Cristiano. Everyone knows him. Best player in the world. He's really motivated, like he said on his interview as well 2 days ago, I think. He's really focused on the national team, and we are very lucky to have him with us because he still can help us a lot.
That was Ruben Neves on Cristiano Ronaldo, and on Sports Extra right now, you can listen to the action from the Women's Super League. It's Reading 1, Liverpool 1 at half-time. Just taking another step away from the World Cup, there's a new episode of the Rugby Union Weekly. It previews the final weekend of autumn matches. It's available now, and for a taster, the team chatted to Eddie Jones about his team selection.
The concept of the bomb squad is definitely something we want to experiment with. Can we bring a more powerful front row on? And you look at the guys we've got there, Gench, Luke Cowan, Dickie and Will Stewart. Like, that's a powerful front row. And whether they can really add to the game in the second half. And the second thing, obviously, the Springboks bring on their best scrummaging front row in the second half.
Remember, that is Rugby Union Weekly, and it is back and available via B. Of course, where you can get the World Cup Daily as well, where we wrap up everything to do with the World Cup, and you can get that, as it suggests, every morning in your inbox for the journey into work. At the moment, we're focusing on Brazil against Serbia from the Lusail Stadium. It's goalless at half-time. We will be back there very shortly for the second half. Tomorrow is a huge day for the home nations. It's topped and tailed by Wales and England. 10 o'clock in the morning for Wales against Iran. This is a game that Wales realistically have to win. There's been a big event in Doha here today trying to create support for the Qatar national side. They're up against Senegal tomorrow. That's 1 o'clock for commentary here on 5 Live Sport. 4 o'clock for Ecuador against Netherlands. And then at 7 o'clock, it's England against USA. 5 Live Breakfast gets underway at 6 o'clock in the mornings. Rick will be there live from Doha, building up to kickoff, and of course joined by Rachel in Salford. Rick's going to be speaking to Ian Rush, to Rob Green, and he's going to be speaking to fans who've had all kinds of journeys to try and get to Qatar to watch their teams in action. About to get underway at the stadium in Lusail. It's Brazil against Serbia. It's goalless as it goes into that second half. Tim Vickery is with us just to give us his thoughts. Tim, you talked about the possible changes that Brazil could make going into this one, just to try and get them to click, to try and get them a bit more productive, to try and get the ball to Richarlison.
Yeah, if you start off with an ultra-attacking lineup, how do you make it more attacking without just changing like for like? So there's a couple that they could bring on that would give them something different. One, as I said, would be Gabriel Jesus, who would give them more elaboration. It would be Rodrigo of Real Madrid, who they really see as the future of the Brazilian national team, and that they see him as someone capable of operating all across the attacking line. But someone, if you're going to bring someone on, someone's going to come on. I wonder who that someone might be. It may even be Richarlison, because if they can't get him into the game, why not try it with something else? But all along, I thought that they would be better inclined to start off more balanced and then expand as the game goes on, instead of beginning, playing all of your cards at the start, and then what you do from then on. I wonder if this will be the starting lineup for the next game against Switzerland, and I doubt it.
Tim Vickery, for now, thank you very much. We can head back to the Lusail Stadium now. Second half commentary of Brazil against Serbia. No goals as yet. Chris Sutton and Alistair Brisbane.
Thank you, Kelly. We are just waiting for a man to arrive before we can get the second half underway. Serbia have been out on the field for a couple of minutes. The Brazilian players have slowly made their way out as a team, but the number 10, Neymar, wasn't quite ready. He was out of the tunnel with his Brazilian shirt off. He had to get that on over an undershirt. There was a bit of strapping to be done. He's still doing his bootlaces out on the field, and the second half is underway.
It's ridiculous. He's do his laces up as well, isn't he? Yeah, no, it's all very odd. I think it's been fascinating the first half, though, and it's a really interesting group, isn't it? With Switzerland winning today and Brazil playing them next. I mean, Brazil will want to win this one and just take the pressure off.
Second half on the way. Goodell has lost it here. Brazil have a chance, and they cannot stick it away. Rafinha. One-on-one with the goalkeeper Milinkovic-Savic. Serbia gave the ball away. Rafinha was two great chances in the game, and he's not been able to take either.
Yeah, Goodell on the edge of his own box, just dithering, taking too long to get the ball out of his feet and pop off a pass. And Rafinha 1v1, big save again. Milinkovic-Savic standing big, making a massive save, but Brazil going to rue those two Rafinha misses, two enormous chances and not taking them.
Still playing this second half from right to left as we look at it at the Lusail Stadium. Yellow shirts, green numbers on the back, blue shorts, white socks.
He could have gone round the goalkeeper, I think. He could have done anything with it, just tried to slide it.
Really sloppy start at the back for Serbia there. They survived it. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. And the point Chris makes is a really good one because of that Switzerland win. Brazil plays Switzerland next. That'll be a 5 live commentary on Monday, 4 p.m. kickoff UK time. If they don't get the win here, same for Serbia as well. It just cranks up the pressure that little bit more on that next fixture. Ball's fallen to Richarlison's feet just inside the Serbian half. He's pretty much on his own. On his left-hand side, and he goes out. He doesn't get the free kick.
He's dived, doesn't he? There wasn't any contact there. Did a poor first half. In fairness, he didn't get a lot of service in that first half. That's something for Chief J to think about.
Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Alisson in goal for Brazil. Danilo, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva and Alexandro back 4. Casemiro, Lucas Paquetá, Neymar, white men Rafinha and Vinicius Jr. And Richarlison, Tottenham's Richarlison playing through the middle. He's been in good goal-scoring form for his country in the warm-up games in September. 2 against Ghana, 1 against Tunisia. Brazil haven't been able to find a way through yet this evening. Can Neymar unlock the door? Plays the ball to his right-hand side. Danilo to Paquetá on the turn. Tries to get it back to Neymar. Serbia have dealt with it for now. Tadic forward to Mitrovic. Mitrovic playing a little bit of keeping. That's brilliant. He volleys a pass to his right. Lovely pace on that as well. Zivkovic, right wing back. Zivkovic up against Alexandro. Alexandro bumps into him. Serbia keep going. Lukic is stopped. Wants a free kick. Not going to get it. This is danger for Serbia. Now Neymar's on the ball. Heading towards their penalty. Goodell, that's a terrible tackle on Neymar just outside the box. Neymar is down, writhing in agony. He made the challenge from Serbia's point of view just in time because it was short of the area and not in the area, but it was desperation and it was dirty.
Yeah, it was. It was really cynical. Because Serbia were careless on that right-hand side, gave the ball away, and they became stretched. And the manager will say, you know what, it's a really good foul for our team, but dangerous situation now, 20 yards out, left-hand side of the box. Just watching this Rafinha chance again, blimey, I mean, it's such a poor effort it is. As I said, he could have gone round the goalkeeper.
It's the whole goal there.
Absolutely, just lifted over him.
Yeah.
And Milinkovic-Savic was already on his way down. I mean, that was a really poor miss.
Yeah. Just on Goodell, who's made the challenge there, it was him actually that gave that ball away that led to that chance. So possibly a little bit rattled, although, as we were saying, he felt he's made the right decision for his team. Now, Neymar, having taken the tumble, has got blades of grass plastered all over his face. We've got a close-up on him. Serbia have a man down, Zivkovic as the draft excluded, behind a very tall four-man wall all in red. Free kick just outside the box. Could be Neymar, could be Rafinha. My money's on Neymar. Let's see what Brazil can do with it. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. Referee just wants to get everything just so. Blows his whistle now. Neymar pauses, drinks in the moment, then with the right foot takes a deflection off the wall and over the bar it goes.
I think the size of the wall, I mean, it's a tall wall, isn't it? And they're on the tiptoes with the draft excluder. Very difficult to get it up and down. Maybe the tallest wall ever, though.
Corner for Brazil. Brazil 0, Serbia 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Neymar takes it with his right foot. Thiago Silva with the header. Richarlison with the shot. That's blocked. Serbia get bodies in the way. Down by the byline, Neymar tries to get across. In Serbian player down at the moment inside the penalty area. Referee lets play continue, and then it goes out of play for a Brazilian throw on the left, and then he's happy to stop the game.
It's Milinkovic-Savic. It's a ball fizzed in. Thiago Silva makes a run in near post area and flicks the ball into Milinkovic-Savic's face. The Serbian midfielder.
In the throat,
he goes down here.
Yeah, nasty one actually. Throwing Brazil when we get started again on the left. Serbian team, goalkeeper's made a really important block at the start of the second half. He's another Milinkovic-Savic. He's the younger brother, Vanja. 3 centre-backs, Milenkovic, Velkovic and Pavlovic. Zivkovic and Mladenovic, the 2 wing-backs. Lukic and Gudel, the 2 central midfielders. And then Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and Tadic in support of Alexander Mitrovic. And I'm sure at some point we will get to see Fiorentina's Luka Jovic and Juventus' Dusan Vlahovic, because Serbia really do have strength up front. And as we mentioned at the start of the night, Filip Kostic is not involved this evening as well, who's a crucial player for them. So that's a miss as well. Throwing Serbia, long diagonal aimed at Vinicius Jr. He just fell over, bumped into Zivkovic, but no foul. Throw in Serbia, 6 minutes gone in the second half. 0-0, and just waiting for that game sort of to rediscover its rhythm. And that real edge it had actually at the start of the game as well. Qatar to Richarlison, back to Qatar, slides the chance in here for Rafinha. Great tackle on Rafinha. Pavlovic had to get that right on the yellow card, timed it well and got the ball.
Yeah, perfect. Pavlovic, really exceptional from him. Because it looked like Rafinha was going to get a shot off with his right foot inside the box. And he gambled, he had to gamble. And he lunged and got the ball.
Qatar's taken a real whack to his lower back here. He was doing some fancy sort of back heel stuff to keep the ball away from Gudel and Milinkovic-Savic. And then I'm not quite sure what's happened, but as he made the turn, he's hurt himself, and he's now sort of moving a little bit sorely back into defensive position. Serbian throw on the left.
The issue that Serbia have is, you've got to say, they've been pretty powder puff going forward, haven't they? They don't look like causing the Brazilians a problem.
Thiago Silva did really well there, strong against Tadic, brings the ball out from his own half. Vinicius Jr. with pace, gets away down the left-hand side, still going to the byline. Zivkovic catches up with it. Vinicius Jr. keeps his balance, cross comes into the far post, headed away, volley by Danilo, miscued. Gudel stoops and heads the ball out of the Serbian penalty area. Now Zivkovic fancies a chance at running down the right. Thiago Silva gets his body in the way, wins it for Brazil. Quickly forward to Qatar, and suddenly the game has gone up a notch or two. Thiago Silva, ball at his feet, just inside the Serbian half. Qatar moving fluently again.
It was Pavlovic again, wasn't it, with the headed clearance. Looked early. He's had an outstanding game, but when they keep the concentration.
Neymar looking for the 1-2 Richarlison. Ball just ahead of Neymar. It is cleared away by Velkovic, the middle of those 3 centre-backs.
That's the issue, isn't it, for the Serbians? They have been brilliant defensively, but you only have to switch off for a second with the array of stars, the superstars in this Brazilian team, and they'll make them pay.
Look at that bench as well. Tim Vickery was mentioning at half-time. Gabriel Jesus, Manchester United's Anthony, Real Madrid's Rodrigo, Pedro Flamengo, Gabriel Martinelli on that bench as well. Brazil with Neymar. Tickles run round the corner. Can't find Qatar. Led to Casemiro. Played across here to Alexandro. Central position. Brings it forward just outside the area. Plays it wide to Vinicius Junior. Low ball in! And the shot is wide from Neymar. Brazil held its breath for a second there. He caught it sweetly. Couldn't get it on target. Still 0-0.
Yes, a really clever pass from Vinicius Junior as the ball's popped out to him on that left-hand side. Gets his head up. And he just feeds the ball in right-footed to Neymar. He's leaning back. Great technique. Spoons the ball over the bar with his left foot.
10 minutes gone in the second half.
I mean, the issue is for Serbia. Can they hold out? They've offered absolutely nothing in this second half going forward. You think it's going to be a matter of time? The Brazilians, they will make something. I think those two Rafinha opportunities haven't taken those chances. They will eventually. I think Serbia have got to show more intent.
Falling towards Mitrovic is deflected into the path of Alisson. That's the first thing he's had to do, the Brazilian goalkeeper, and he just very calmly bends down and picks the ball up like he's playing part with his kids and rolls it out to Marquinhos. Marquinhos plays it to Thiago Silva, who jauntily comes striding up towards the halfway line. Gets the ball back here from Danilo. Forward to Neymar. Neymar, 10 yards inside the Serbian half, and then Lukic just muscles him off the ball. Free kick. Another little Chiche quote. I love Chiche's quotes, Chris, I'm going to hit you with, which I read ahead of the tournament. I think in an interview with Tim Vickery, said one of the things he learned from Russia 2018, other teams no longer tremble against the yellow shirt. He said that sort of fear factor that playing against Brazil has. Now we're going to have an early double change for Serbia in the second half. We've got Ivan Ilic coming on for Gudel, who was on the yellow card in central midfield. Ivan Ilic, who was once off Manchester City. I feel he could be a potential Nemanja Matic, actually, tall, left-footed central midfielder. So he's on wearing number 24. And then the other change sees Nemanja Radonjic come on for a right wing-back. The ball is in the arms of the goalkeeper, Vanja. In green for Serbia, nil. Serbia, nil. So number 7, wide on the right, Nemanja Radonjic, who plays for Torino. And here's Mitrovic just volleying the little ball forward. Now Mitrovic might be able to give him the end of something here. The ball bounces high inside the Brazilian. Off it. Dusan Tadic looks up, gets across into the far post, and it's headed away by Alexandro. And Radonjic was waiting behind him, having just come to the field, and was thinking he might have a chance to score.
Yeah, it's good defending though from Alexandro. He worked the situation first time in this half that Serbia have got themselves up the pitch. You can hear the roar from the Serbian fans. Mitrovic going shoulder to shoulder with the Brazilian defender, running the ball, popping out left, and the ball just stood up at the far post. Heads behind. This is where they could be dangerous for Serbians. Big team.
As we said, Brazil not lost an opening game at a World Cup in 1934 against Spain. At the moment, Brazil and Serbia nil. 5 live with BBC Sounds. For Serbia, comes in from the right, near post, headed up in the air. The ball is still in the Brazilian penalty area. Serbia trying to keep it alive with Mitrovic. Header away, chased out by Mladenovic, and he'll let the ball go out for a throw-in on the left-hand side. Level with the edge of the Brazil box. And Mladenovic, there's no one making any sort of run towards him whatsoever. Eventually, Ivan Ilic, 21-year-old, decides to do that. Nice little pass first time with his left foot. Milinkovic Savic tries to find him again. Brazilian players. Last touch though came off Milinkovic. Savic goes behind for a goal kick to Brazil.
Substitutions for Serbia. The changes going to come for Brazil.
Ball forward to Neymar. Neymar immediately surrounded by 4 red shirts, but moves away from them. They're happy to let him have the ball there in the centre circle. Then Tadic has a little nibble. Got nowhere near the ball. Brings him down. Neymar takes the tumble. And that will be a free kick to Brazil. Tadic and Neymar have a little exchange. Brazil already on the move. Casemiro's pass looking for Rafinha down the right. Doesn't get there. Second chance for Brazil. uses Rafinha, who's wide. Ball just jumps up off Rafinha's left boot, but he keeps it. Goes past by Qatar, finds Alexandro, hits a wicked swerving shot, comes back off the post. Ball on the right here for Brazil. Danilo gets the cross in. It's a deep one. It eventually arrives at Vinicius Junior. Curler with his right foot, not on target. Goal kick for Serbia. What a hit from Alexandro. Milinkovic-Savic was not saving that.
You've got to ask yourself, is this going to be one of those nights for Brazil? It's a brilliant strike, all of 30 yards out, Alexandro. And he cuts across the ball. There's all sorts of swerve on the ball, and it cannons off the post. Milinkovic-Savic, a big guy in that Serbian goal, gets nowhere near it. Goes to safety.
Chris Sutton with us in the Lusail Stadium. Chris has picked up hundreds of followers from Japan on social media this afternoon. Chris has gone viral over there doing his interviews with Japanese television today as Rafinha chases a ball through from Richarlison, but can't catch it. Milinkovic-Savic bowls it out, the goalkeeper, and the ball is with Ilic in midfield. So the Japanese very excited about the BBC Sport pundit who predicted their win over Germany, their 2-1 win. So Chris did his interview today. You never know what that could lead to, Chris, honestly. Well, just take me with you. That's
available for contract offers tonight.
It's a major country, the travel run. If you've never been, honestly, it is absolutely wonderful. And the pass very nearly, the pass back to Milinkovic-Savic.
Because Richarlison was lurking, wasn't he?
It's Marquinhos. Brazil just in the last couple of minutes have just stepped it up a little bit. Bit more pace and purpose about the passing. Casemiro, curling ball with his right foot. Danilo controls. Rafinha is wide on the right. Danilo runs beyond him. Rafinha comes back towards the halfway line. But that's a very skinny build. Hits the Thiago Silva. Marquinhos at a 1-2 with Alexandro, who's just seen that shot come crashing back off the post. Vinicius Junior brings it in from the left. Nice pass to Casemiro. Casemiro delays his ball. Yellow shirts to his right. Rolls it across here to Danilo. Rafinha there on the corner of the Serbian penalty area. Makes his left-footed ball. Nice. To Neymar. Neymar's first touch lets him down. And the ball gets away from him. Serbia clear. Here come Brazil again. Ball with Casemiro. Central position, 40 yards out. Neymar lets it run across his body. This could be dangerous. Silky moves. Neymar into the box. Onto his left. But Vinicius Junior, great save. And the rebound's knocked in. The offside down. And Richarlison starts the Brazilian party at Qatar 2022. He is absolutely mocked by his teammates, fellow Brazilian substitutes. They're doing a little dance around him, and Brazil finally get the breakthrough. Some magic skills from Neymar, a brilliant save from Milinkovic-Savic initially, but Richarlison there to stick it home to make it Brazil 1, Serbia 0.
Richarlison, right place, right time, but this is all about Neymar. And the way he lets the ball run across his body on the edge of the box is absolutely brilliant, it is. The ball's just fed into it from Casemiro. Drops his shoulder, lets the ball run across his body, and runs out on the left-hand side of the box. I think he's trying to go himself, but inadvertently sets the ball up for Vinicius Junior, who whips a shot in right-footed, and the goalkeeper makes a brilliant save, left-handed save. Pokes it out to Richarlison, who bundles the ball in. Hasn't been involved much this evening, but how important is that? Proactive inside the box, and the Brazilians deserve it.
Yeah.
He felt it was coming.
Yeah. Just noticed, didn't you, Chris? Last few minutes, that intensity had just picked up.
Serbia, they've shown little ambition.
He's trying to get away down the right, battling for the ball here. Brazil have two players there. Thiago Silva is one of them. Brazil leading Serbia now by a goal to nil. And Richarlison's goal scoring record, they have really found a consistent number 9 for them. His 18th goal now in 39 internationals. Dusan Tadic is down holding his head. Yellow card goes up for Sasa Lukic. Not entirely sure what for. Play will stop. Tadic holding the back of his head in his neck. Took a heavy tumble. Referee Ali Reza Fagani definitely raised the yellow card to Sasa Lukic. So whether he had a word there or something, said something out of turn, maybe that's the reason. And Tadic recover. And Serbia now, yeah, he is. He's having a pop at the rep, isn't he?
Yeah, it's good descent. There's maybe a foul, do some Tadic beforehand, and that's where the frustration was. I mean, it's okay setting up this way and being defensive, being compact, and for the best part of 60 minutes, 62, 63, it's worked for Serbia, but they haven't looked like scoring. Can't remember Alisson having a save to make. They haven't shown enough intent and ambition. And if you want to defend deep, that's fine, but are you good enough to keep these superstars out? And they haven't been. Another game plan has to change for Serbia.
Yeah, Sasaluki's just been booked. He is coming off. Darko Lazovic comes on to replace him. And the left wing back, Filip Mladenovic. And then he comes off the field and took it up. And Dusan Vlahovic. So that is a change. You've got two strikers on the field now. And so we've got to go through a bit more. We've played 20 minutes in this second half. Richarlison and scored Brazil's first goal at this level, and that sort of carnival feel and noise and music and dancing. And there was a sort of organised dance by the Brazilian entire squad, really, to celebrate Richarlison's goal after it came. All the reaction, debate, analysis to today's World Cup action in the World Cup Daily podcast on the BBC Sounds app for you much later on this evening, and of course first thing tomorrow morning. So get yourself to the BBC Sounds app and click subscribe, and obviously you can always listen to the games if you're on the move during this World Cup at any time on your device. Take us with you where you go. Brazil 1, Serbia 0. Where's this game going to take us now? Ball wide on the right hand side with Darko Lazovic, who's taken up the right wing back role. So does that mean Radonjic? Yeah, Radonjic, the number 7, has gone over to the left wing back role. And Vlahovic and Tadic now in support of Mitrovic for Serbia. And they've got the ball now. Rare possession for them. Ball played to Tadic. Tries to give it back to Radonjic. Taken away from him. And here comes Brazil. And there's a lot of space for Neymar. Neymar running at the Serbian defenders. Ball might get to Vinicius Junior. Could come from Vinicius Junior. Only up to 26. And slices it well wide. And just on a couple of occasions there, it looked like Neymar might get in. That chance didn't look like Vinicius Junior might get in. That one disappeared. Both players are still down. The referee stopped the game, and we will have a slight break in play. Brazil 1, Serbia 0.
There was 2-on-2. There's a wonderful pass to release Neymar, centre of the pitch, and then he's driving forward, looking for the run of Vinicius Junior. Got challenged, got tackled, and the ball brought to Vinicius Junior. Ilic tries to nick front, rolls him, drives into the box, and just he's going to fire a shot with his left foot. He slips. The chance on them want that second goal, Brazil. They want to put this game to bed as soon as possible.
Neymar his laces up properly. Start of the second half. Trying to get that boot back on at the moment.
Looks like Serbians have gone to a back four now.
Okay. Pass blocked by Richarlison. Yeah, you're right. And there's Milenkovic, who looks like he's playing it right back in the four now. Ilic, 21-year-old, across to his left-hand side. Ilic, the big centre-back, goes lumbering forward. Stays up there in the attack. Why not? They're trailing 1-0. Want to try and get something out of this game. Their next game in the group is against Cameroon. Switzerland, the other team in this group. Cross comes in from the left, and that's intercepted by Casemiro. Doing that job that he does. Behind for a corner.
Amazing, isn't it? The difference of goal makes. Pushing Brazil back. Got a risk. Back into this game.
Midway through the second half. Chris Sutton with us on 5 Live at BBC Sounds. Brazil, 5 times winners of the World Cup. World #1 ranked team. Defending the corner, headed well over their crossbar. But the big fella, the big bouncer, Pavlovic, gets underneath it and can't get it on target.
They're such a big team, aren't they? So it's a left-footed outswinger. Pavlovic leaps well, but it's under pressure from Thiago Silva, who just does enough. And that experience, just uses his body well. Leans into Pavlovic, and he heads the ball over the bar, well over the bar.
You and I, Chris, by the way, are back here on Saturday for a big one. 5 Live, 7 o'clock kickoff UK time, Argentina after that defeat in this stadium against Mexico on Saturday. That'll be some game in some atmosphere as well, I think. Oh, now Brazil have lost it inside their own half. Vlahovic, clumsy first touch, and then he's conceded the foul. Oh, he's won the corner. I thought he shoved him over. Thiago Silva certainly feels the same. Vlahovic goes racing into the middle, wants to try and get on the end of something. Sloppy from Brazil, giving it away. Thiago Silva certainly feels the same. Vlahovic goes racing into the middle, wants to try and get on the end of something. Sloppy from Brazil, giving it away. So we have a chance to attack again. And as Chris was just saying, they do have height and strength and muscle inside that Brazilian penalty area. Corner comes in from the right away across, ball straight up in the air, heading back by Milinkovic-Savic, not off the line. Acrobatic attempt from Vlahovic has miscued, and eventually the ball is smashed behind for a goal kick. And Brazil survived.
Marquinhos off the line. It's a brilliant corner, left-footed in swinger. Milinkovic-Savic, the Serbian midfielder, gets up, heads the ball across. Marquinhos, the corner is going in. Mitrovic was behind him, but he powers the ball clear. Marquinhos, a little high five. Danilo is right back. Let's take danger, the Serbians.
You know what will be a good listen, Chris, if they put it in the World Cup Daily, because I know they've been doing a bit of that in this tournament, is the Brazilian commentary on the Richarlison goal. And with a lot of the goals in this World Cup, I would love to hear that. Big moment for them, opening game. They're leading Serbia by a goal to nil. And if you're looking ahead to tomorrow's action, here's Tadic, low pass to Mitrovic, edge of the Brazilian box, tries to scoop one into the middle, doesn't get it right, and it bounces into the arms of Housen. Second Dave at the end of every World Cup Daily just has a sort of tactical look ahead at some of the players and what we're going to see in the day ahead. Big day on 5 Live tomorrow. Wales running full at 10. England, USA in full at 7 o'clock. Qatar, Senegal at 1. Netherlands, Ecuador, 4 o'clock. Those are the 4 countries. 5 Live and BBC Sound tomorrow. Brazil, Serbia, by goal to nil. Throwing forwards, Richarlison. Richarlison with his back to goal is able to lay it off to Rafinha. Finds Neymar. Central position, 30 yards out.
GJ just wanting to see this game through.
Yeah, Fred is stripped off and ready to go. Wait for Brazil this World Cup. Yeah, Fred is stripped off and ready to go. Wait for Brazil this World Cup. Ball thrown down the right for Brazil. Neymar, but Vinicius Junior immediately gives it to the more senior player. Neymar gives it.
Hey, what a goal! Brazilian brilliance at its best. That is absolutely sensational. Richarlison knocks it up in the air, spins, and acrobatically smashes it home to make it Brazil 2, Serbia 0. How about that?
Wow. Brazilian magic, it really is. This is Richarlison. His first goal was a tap-in. His second goal was a volley. Unbelievable. Vinicius Junior down the left-hand side, outside of the right boot. Into Richarlison. From the ball's in the air, a yard off the floor, flicks it up with the inside of his left boot. Spins, overhead kick. Into the corner. No chance for the Serbian goalkeeper. Acrobatics at its very best. That's absolutely
Stunning, isn't it, Chris? When you come to a World Cup and watch Brazil, that Serbia 0, and we were talking before the game with Kelly Cates about
Serbia. Can't ever remember an incisive pass. Everything's gone out wide. The cross balls into the box, but to little effect. And Brazil, I think this performance is just saying to everybody else, we're here, you better watch out.
referees saying, I'm here, hurry up, get on with the throw-in. I've got one more Chiche quote I want to read you if I've got time. But the ball is back in play. Flick on from Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli might get there first. Bumps into the defender, but Jesus is onto the loose ball. All clever from Jesus. That was a bad challenge on Jesus from Pavlovic. He picked up for that, actually. Jesus gets it to Martinelli. Can't tee himself up for the shot in the penalty area. Serbia clear, and then Danilo's hold there. Yeah.
He was down in the box.
Right.
A couple of minutes ago, I don't know, I'm not a medical expert, Bruce, whether that's cramp or not.
There's not say that.
Waving over to
Five subs. They've used all five, so that's a problem. I mean, not a problem in terms of the game, but right back in this squad is 39-year-old Dani Alves, who could break Thiago Silva's record that he's just made tonight of becoming the oldest Brazilian player to play the World Cup.
Make clear as well, you're not a medical expert.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Added time. End of the game in the Lusail Stadium. Brazil 2, Serbia 0. He is hobbling, yeah. He is hobbling. But what are they going to do? He wants some help at the back from Anthony, and Anthony's saying, no, I want to have fun. I want to go forward and get the ball.
I want to score a goal.
At the World Cup, yeah. So are they going to leave him out there? Looks like they are. Allison bouncing the ball here. He's had a very quiet evening. Volleys it forward with his right foot.
Brazil. Come on, Allison. Puffing the ball up the pitch. This is Brazil. This is a World Cup. We've seen the best goal of the tournament so far, and let Allison puffing the ball up the pitch out of his hands.
Serbia has taken the free kick. It's going to tie. It's going to tie nicely with my Chiche quote if I can get it out. The Brazilian manager managing it back-to-back World Cups. Serbia on the ball though, with Pavlovic. Now Tadic. We can get the ball through to Vlahovic. Cut out.
Beautifully read from Thiago Silva.
Yeah. Martinelli beaten in the air by Milenkovic. So Chiche says, I don't want to throw away my principles and win this thing at any cost. Not saying this is an excuse if we lose. I've won everything in my career. The only thing missing is the World Cup. We want to win by being the best, fairly, with pride, at being technically more developed, faster, with more creativity and more goals. And here they come. Down the left-hand side, Rodrigo looking for a third. Cross comes in. Not enough on that. And cleared away by Veljkovic in the middle. Can they find one more tonight?
Well, do you believe Chiche after seeing Allison hunt the ball down the pitch 80 yards?
Mix it up a bit, Chris. That's what I say. At time at the end of this game, Brazil leading Serbia by 2. He then added, not with the influence of dirty play, provoking the opposition, looking for little advantages.
It's been the odd dive, isn't it?
Ball. Martinelli chests it down. Ball spins to a stop on the laces of his right foot, teasing defenders up to the box, trying to slide it back here to Rodrigo.
They are frightening, aren't they?
Yeah.
The attacking players they have on the bench, I mean, blimey. And there's been a nice balance to the team. They haven't looked like conceding.
Yeah.
That back four, they've been in place. Casemiro just brilliant at protecting the back four. He's been a real enforcer in there. The odd time he's drifted forward, lucky not to score.
Quick throw from Serbia looking for Vlahovic. Falls over, and he now seems in pain.
Trod on his ankle, didn't he?
Did he?
Trod on his Achilles.
Obviously, accidentally, actually.
No, he clips it.
If Brazil win this group, they will play the runners-up.
His game's good. That's a bit disrespectful.
That's if Brazil win this group, and I think they will, what do you think?
No, don't underestimate Switzerland.
Okay, they will play the runners-up of the Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea.
So basically you're saying Brazil are going all the way.
You're the predictions expert. You're the man who's big in Japan. You tell me, how you predicted them to win the next one?
Again.
He's gone on.
This beautiful
in my work.
Look
at it. Oh, up to Jesus. He lays it off.
Are you sure those quotes are associated with Chiche?
I think he gave them to Tim Vickery in the publication I'm reading.
Well, Tim Vickery's on after.
Yeah, we'll ask him. I like those quotes. Milinkovic-Savic. Ball at his feet. Brazil trying to win his 6th World Cup at this tournament, and they've started well. Serbia on the ball, bringing it out of their own half with the 21-year-old Ilic. Plays it back to Pavlovic. Pavlovic turns back to his goalkeeper. He's had a good game. He has had a good game.
I mean, the scoreline would have been far worse had it not been for him.
Now they come forward, ball across from Velkovic, controlled by Ilic, Radonjic in space on the left-hand side, up against Anthony, takes Anthony on the inside, Radonjic with the right-footed shot, blocked to Casemiro, obviously, turned his back, got his body in the way. That's it for the entertainment this evening, but look out for Brazil at Qatar 2022, and look out for their number 9, we were talking about their number 10 before the game, Neymar just 2 goals shy of Pele's record for the Brazilian team, but goodness me, Pele would be very, very proud of Richarlison's second goal tonight. He scored both, the first stabbing into an empty net after Milinkovic-Savic had made a fabulous save, but the second was just a joy to behold. Cross came in from the left, he flicked it up with his left foot, swiveled in midair, and smashed it in with his right foot, and it was beautiful, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, goal of the tournament so far. A work of art, wasn't it, from Richarlison? It really was stunning. Great support for Brazil. It was a display of real authority. Alisson didn't have anything to do, really. Strong at the back, and they have those flair players going forward. But Richarlison, the difference this evening, and off to a great start, Brazil.
Brazilian fans in raptures all around us in this giant stadium. They are off to a winning start, as they so often are at these World Cups. Number 1 ranked in the world, and particularly in that second half, just showed us a little bit of that Brazilian magic. Plenty more to come at this World Cup. Beaten Serbia in their opening game by 2-0.
Ali, Chris, thank you very much. We'll be back to you very shortly. Just take a breath for a second while we talk to Tim Vickery about that victory for Brazil. And there's lots to get into there, Tim, but there is something that is fitting and beautiful about a goal scored like Richarlison's second by a Brazil player at a World Cup final. It just feels right. Don Hutchison, the former Scotland international, has tweeted a couple of times along these veins this evening saying there will be millions of young fans watching the yellow shirt of Brazil at a World Cup finals for the first time, and this is where they will fall in love with football.
I've got a 5-year-old grandson over here, and his mum has just sent me a video of him trying to reproduce what Richarlison did for that second goal. So that bears out Don's point. We've got to take that centre forward off. He can't get in the game. Take him off. And then Richarlison wins the game. What a wonderful, wonderful second goal. And what a wonderful collective performance in that they go with the ultra-attacking lineup. There were problems breaking Serbia down, but there were never defensive problems. Alisson didn't have a single save to make. Now, easier for them against a centre-forward like Mitrovic, who needs the team higher up the field. They'll confront opposition who'll go at them with pace later on, and that'll be an interesting challenge. But they have paid a price for this victory. Neymar's ankle doesn't look good. He was in floods there on the sidelines, and Danilo pulling up at the end. That's why Mr. Al and Chris Sutton, that's why Alisson was punting long, because the right back was cropped, and they didn't trust him to play out. But that's a problem. They could go with Daniel Alves, of course. They could go with Eder Militão, who's normally a centre back but can also play at right back. But they are aware that if they go with Daniel Alves, they can't play this the starting formation. They have to have Freddy, because his lung power will protect the 39-year-old legs of Daniel Alves. So they may have paid a price for this victory, but they will love the fact that's not a save to make the goalkeeper. That's an absolute key word. And if you can pick that amount of attacking players and not suffer defensively, great. Also, they'll like the fact that they had to suffer. Some of the earlier games they've had, the friendlies have been all over by half time. Now they had to wait an hour and more for the goal.
I love that you're talking about this side and the test of their character, and the fact they'll be really satisfied with keeping a clean sheet, the fact that Alisson didn't have to make a save. And as the Brazil players celebrate with their fans at the Lusail Stadium, they're dancing, they danced their way into the stadium. They had musical instruments as they were heading in, including drums, and sort of beating that rhythm as they danced their way in. They're now dancing their way out of the stadium with their supporters. And as much as there are defensive positives to take from this one, the fans won't be celebrating that. They'll be celebrating a fantastic goal, celebrating that 2-0 win. But it just goes to emphasise where the emphasis is in Brazil, that it is actually, as much as we fall in love with them, there is a practical element to going out and trying to win a World Cup.
And it is all about balance. It always has been. They pioneered the back four back in 1958. Extra defensive cover, they didn't concede a goal until the semi-finals. If you can keep the opposition at bay, you get full value for every little bit of individual talent that you show. And they have plenty of individual talent. When it starts to click collectively, when that ball starts to flow, they can be irresistible. I said to the coach, when I left him a few weeks ago, can you make us want to be Brazilian again? And I think they're part of the way along the way to fulfilling that promise, aren't they? If they can give us some more moments like that over the next few weeks, we'll all remember when we first fell in love with the Brazilian national football team.
And certainly of this vintage as well, it could be a classic Brazilian vintage. And they did grow very much into the game. And we've seen that from a lot of the sides that have been fancied in this competition. Either they've stuttered at the first hurdle, or they've had to play themselves into the competition and get themselves back up to speed. And I think what we should probably do is have some kind of buzzer for you, Tim, because you're going to be asked this question at every stage until Brazil finally either win it or exit the tournament. But on that performance, can Brazil feel that they can go on and add the sixth? Can they win this World Cup?
Well, I think they're justified favourites. I always fancied them more than Argentina going into the tournament. I like Argentina. Argentina are capable of much, much better than they showed us the other day. But if you have to choose between the defensive units, for me, it's a no-brainer. I would have Brazil's defensive unit every time. You never saw Brazil defensively embarrassed. When Serbia tried to chase the game and went with two up front, it just became a massacre. And Serbia had to have a rethink and bring on an extra midfielder and try and close up again. Other sides have seen on Switzerland. The next game will be a very interesting challenge because Switzerland will not commit forward and they do have a fast striker. Let's see how Brazil deal with that. Along the way, questions will be posed. Let's find out if Brazil have the answers to those questions, and we're going to have a lot of fun working out if they do have the answers or not.
It does feel like it is going to be fun, this competition for Brazil, and certainly watching Brazil. Tim Vickery, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll be talking to you plenty of times throughout this tournament. Always a pleasure and really good to talk to you. So, Brazil are off to a winning start at the World Cup, as are Portugal. Remember, we'll be looking ahead to all of tomorrow's action as well, with 5 Live Breakfast from 6 o'clock at the World Cup. Rick will be live from Doha. We'll look ahead to England's match with the USA, and Wales take on Iran. Rick's going to be speaking to Ian Rush, to Rob Green, to some of the fans who've made their way over here to Qatar. We'll be talking about all there is to come tomorrow, and we'll be looking back on another great day at the World Cup after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
Take the World Cup with you, Qatar 2022
on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A child safeguarding board has apologised for failures that allowed a 5-year-old boy to be murdered by his family. Logan Mwangi was killed by his mother, stepfather and a teenager in Bridgend last year. He was taken to hospital with a broken arm 11 months before his death, but doctors didn't pass on the information. Our Wales correspondent is Thomas Morgan.
Another key recommendation is that the Welsh Government should consider a review looking into how all the agencies involved, how they share and gather information, because that has been a key part of this finding of this review. And that is something that has come up time and time again in similar child practice review and, of course, in serious case reviews over the border in England.
A man's been charged with murdering a woman and her 2 young daughters following a fire in their flat in Nottingham. Jamie Barrow, who's 31, is due before Nottingham magistrates tomorrow. Fatuma Haidara and her daughters Fatima and Naima all died from smoke inhalation on Sunday morning. A child's died and another is in hospital after a bacteria outbreak at a primary school in Surrey. It's believed the pupils at Ashford Church of England School caught an invasive streptococcal infection. Antibiotics being offered to all children and staff there. The head of the RMT Rail Union, Mick Lynch, says his first meeting with the new Transport Secretary Mark Harper was positive and that a dialogue has begun. Mr Harper's urging unions and employers to get together to resolve disputes on the rail network.
It isn't my role to do the detailed negotiations. That's for him and other trade union leaders to do with the employers, the RMT and the trade operating companies. I do accept that I have a role in this process, which is to try and encourage the two sides to come to an agreement.
The government says it remains committed to reducing migration. It's after net arrivals to the UK reached a record 500,000 in the year to June. And the owners of Sports Direct are buying the historic Savile Road tailor, Jeeves and Hawkes. Fraser's Group says it's securing the long-term future of the 250-year-old brand.
On BBC iPlayer, take a trip back to Waterloo Road.
Cheers.
Cheers! Relive the history,
It was just a stupid mistake. It didn't mean anything.
the chemistry,
Well, I'm here for you, no matter what. I love you.
the drama. Do you think I'm going to stand by and let you throw 13 years of school down the drain?
You can't stop me.
Well, we'll see about that.
Before the new series starts, watch all episodes of Waterloo Road on BBC iPlayer.
BBC 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022 with Kelly Cakes.
Hello and welcome to the World Cup Daily from 5 Live Sport. Richarlison has lit up the World Cup. He scored a screamer in Brazil's 2-0 win over Serbia. Fantastic goal from him that we'll be reflecting on. Cristiano Ronaldo has become the first man to score at 5 different FIFA World Cups. He found the net in Portugal's 3-2 win against Ghana. We'll hear from Jose Font on that later on. Also on this busy show, we'll preview Friday's early match, which is Wales against Iran. But we're going to start by looking ahead to England against the USA in the company of our World Cup flatmates, Morecambe and Wise of Doha, Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Guys, look, the big news out of the England camp today is that Captain Harry Kane will be fit to play against the United States on Friday night. We'll get your thoughts on it in just a second. Before we do, here's Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, look, I mean, everybody saw the tackle. We had it checked out. It's his foot, not the ankle. I know everybody's saying it's the ankle, it's his foot. So he was happy with what he did yesterday. He was training today, and with no reason to believe he was not going to be right for tomorrow.
So was it a metatarsal? Was it something like that you were worried about?
You're going into medical science now, John. It's the top of his foot is all I know. No, I don't think it's there's no break. Yeah, there's no significant injury as far as I can see. There's going to be some discomfort, I'm sure. But I think if you stopped any of the players playing without any discomfort, we'd have 3 out there tomorrow.
As for this match against the USA, clearly the objective is to win it. But what do you feel is the importance of getting qualification sorted out? And I'm thinking back to 4 years ago in Russia and what you were able to do in that third match, even though you lost the match, what the advantage and benefit was of that for later in the tournament.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, look, I think if you could choose, the last 2 tournaments we've been qualified after 2 matches, and it's allowed us to do other things, but you've also got to accept that the first objective is to get out of the group, and we said at the start we've got 3 matches to do that, and if it takes us 3 and we've got to go to the 90th minute, but it's probably the 135th minute of the third game, then you've got to be prepared to go the distance. So we, of course, would like to get that done tomorrow, but we play a very good opponent, and they've got their own motivations, and they're going to make life very difficult for us.
And after the match the other day, I said to you whether you were going to talk to FIFA about the issues of manhandling, wrestling, shirt pulling in the penalty areas. Have you done that? And what's the response been?
We filed our thoughts and sort of asked for observations. We haven't had a response as yet. So that's where that is at the moment.
So Ali and Chris are with us. Chris, Gareth Southgate there speaking to John Murray, and he also confirmed that James Maddison is going to be the only player that's not available for him for the USA game. And he's talking quite positively about him being able to play in later stages. Harry McCoy him off against Iran. And I think there was a bit of illness amongst the squad, which seems to have sorted itself out. What would you do if you were Gareth Southgate? Would you look at kind of managing your squad, making a few changes, as we know he usually does? Or do you stick to that team that beat Iran 6-2?
I think he sticks to the team which beat Iran 6-2. With regards to Harry Maguire, he has to be 100%, I suppose. With Harry Kane, if he's carrying a bit of a knock, look, I don't think I'm a great believer you don't take USA lightly. I think that Gareth will show respect to the USA. England can't look too far ahead. You only have to look at England's performances in the Nation League and how poor they were. And then, it was a real lift, I think, for everybody, that performance against Iran. And a lot of players who I was worried about before the tournament actually showing up. Mason Mount looked particularly sharp. Raheem Sterling took his goal really, really well. England are in a good place now, but you don't start thinking about the Wales game. You think about beating USA, and then on to the next one.
Like you said, it's not expected to be wholesale changes. It might be a tweak though, because Southgate hasn't named an unchanged team for the World Cup semi-final in Moscow in 2018. But Raheem Sterling, Alex, spoke on yesterday's World Cup Daily podcast, and he said the players know that 4-3-3. It's a shape that they want to work in. And we've seen, as Gareth Southgate promised, but I think there might have been a little bit of scepticism about it, a much more front foot and attacking and positive-looking England.
Yeah, I mean, that is what was so encouraging about that particular performance. And what helped so much there, Kelly, was getting the first goal in the game. It opened the game up, and then England just grew in confidence. I always felt, actually, just listening to Gareth Southgate ahead of this tournament, sort of reflecting back on what happened in the Nations League last summer, that he almost felt those kind of performances and potentially results were coming and wasn't too worried about it, considering what England have done under him in the major tournaments. I also completely agree with Chris on Harry Kane. If Kane was 50-50 and he was a major risk, then obviously you don't take it. But he is so important, and he is so much the link man, and he's so good at bringing the best out of the other players. This will not be an easy game. England don't want to go into the game against Wales, needing a result. They want to make it 2 wins out of 2, and the best way to do that is, it's not too much of a risk. You've got to play it.
Yeah, they're looking at that balance again. The balance of fitness as opposed to putting the load on the players. I mean, encouraging that it's his foot rather than his ankle for Harry Kane. And then the balance of trying to work out what you're going to do across the course of a tournament. The other thing as well is, Chris, there are 5 substitutes available. You've got Kyle Walker fit again. There are options there for Gareth Southgate. Just because he starts with one lineup doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination he's going to end up with it.
No, and it seems that the substitutions, we've seen, substitutions in this tournament have been really key, especially for Japan. Yesterday, again, you see the players that Brazil bring on, and that's something which Gareth can think about. But he couldn't possibly think about, Harry Kane, putting him on the bench and then bringing him on if, England go behind against USA. I don't think you do it that way round. If England are comfortable tomorrow and get a couple of goals up, then you can bring your star man off, wrap him in cotton wool, and maybe give Callum Wilson a run.
Kelly, just don't ask for detail on injuries, because he'll start the sentence with, "I'm not a medical expert."
Not a medical expert.
Always.
But do you know what? I don't think you need to be a medical expert to pick apart the anatomy. As Gareth Southgate said, we were all talking but worriedly about the fact that it was Harry Kane's ankle, and he said actually it wasn't his ankle, it was his foot. So and even he didn't want to confirm whether or not it was the metatarsal.
What's the difference between your ankle and your foot then, Kelly?
You twist your foot.
You're saying your ankle is part of your foot, aren't you, Chris?
I don't know. I'm not a medical expert.
This could take down some strange and twisting roads. I think we'd probably steer clear of that.
Do you know what? We'll get into a philosophical debate, and it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning in Doha. I don't think this is the time. Certainly without a lot of time to get through it.
What would there be?
Anatomically, your ankle bone's connected to your foot bone, your foot bone's connected to your toe bone. And tell you what, talking of connections, box-to-box midfielder Jude Bellingham. Yes.
Very good.
Who's very much a connecting player for England. He was a real positive. I mean, there's been so much talk about him in the build-up to this World Cup, and he's delivering. It feels as though every stage of his career, whichever level he's asked to raise his game to, he's able to do it. He's able to perform.
How mature is he for one so young? The game against Germany at Wembley, I mean, he took the game by the scruff of the neck. He's a brilliant player. Before the tournament, he was the player who I said was the player I was most looking forward to watching this tournament. I think England's balance is good in that midfield, and look, he can play as a holding midfield, he can play up one, and he's a great all-rounder. I thought his header was absolutely wonderful, the way he just took the pace off the ball and found the back of the net, and it's important that he stays fit for England. But I think England are in a really good place in terms of their confidence. That win against Iran, and now they're going to the USA. It will be a different test. I think the USA will play with great intensity and try and press England high and put them under pressure. I thought they faded against Wales, in truth, but I think that England will, have more of a test and maybe have to be a little bit more patient.
I can't really focus on what you're saying. I'm now thinking, is your wrist part of your hand? And I'm asking myself all kinds of, questions that I don't want to be swimming around my head at this time in the morning.
I'm going to take my shoe and sock off here and just look, because your ankle. Bruce,
That's lovely, that is.
Where's your ankle then, Bruce?
You can have a foot injury or you could have an ankle injury. Just because you've got an ankle injury doesn't make it a foot injury, does it?
Right.
I think it does.
To rescue us, one of the greatest English exports to have played in the MLS, Bradley Wright Phillips, who's with us now. Bradley, we're extremely grateful that you're joining us this evening. As an Englishman with a green card for the States, do you have split allegiances?
I'm joking. No, I do not have split allegiances. I'm an English through and through.
So there's no issues around a lot of this, but you do know a lot of the USA squad, and you can tell us a lot about them. They were asked, or they were asking American journalist Gareth Southgate what the English attitude towards US football was like. What's the US attitude towards English football?
Honestly, I think they see it's kind of like a big brother. I think they know they're not better, but I think now with the exports they've had going to England and the players they've got playing in the Premier League and so on and playing international football, they're no longer scared. That's what it seems like to me. They're no longer scared, and they think they can give it a good go.
Yeah, we saw that in the game against Wales, that there seems to be a composure and a kind of common purpose in that USA side. Who are the individuals, do you think, that now that they've played themselves into the tournament, who do you think is going to start to really stand out?
Well, I think the three main ones for me, I think their midfielders, they're supposed to start their team. I think Tyler Adams, Lusail and Weston McKinney are very, very, very good midfielders. They can cause any team problems. I think where they will struggle is their attacking. The attacking side of the game. I don't think they have enough goal scorers, to really cause us any trouble. But they have a really good midfield. I think what they do need to do is somehow figure out how to get Aronson into the team. I think he can bring something a little different.
Yeah, and he's a player that, of course, people who've been watching the Premier League know a good bit about. And tomorrow's build-up on 5 Live to the game starts with Breakfast with Rick Edwards. That comes live from Qatar, where he has been speaking to USA players Brendan Harrison and Tyler Adams about facing England.
The amount of quality they have is impressive, and I think that's why they're one of the favorites, obviously, to win the World Cup. They have a good mixture of young, exciting players, and a mixture of guys that are veterans, leaders that have the experience of playing in these tournaments. So, for us, it's exciting to have the opportunity to play against a team that's a favorite. And, going into a game or going into this tournament, we knew that we were never going to be the most talented team, that we were probably going to be an underdog in a lot of the games that we played. But that doesn't mean that sticking together and having 11 good players and 11 good performances on the day, you can't win. So, the list goes on about the amount of players that they have.
How's the chat in the Leeds WhatsApp group at the moment?
Honestly, I got a few really nice messages before the last game, but haven't got too many messages about this game. I'm sure they're going to come at some point. There'll be some banter, but we got a lot of banter before we left with things that they were saying.
Hope you lose.
Yeah.
Good luck in all the games except against England.
Classic banter.
Exactly. Classic stuff like that. Exactly.
Not too harsh. Not yet.
But we'll see.
Have you spoken to Jesse Marsh since you've been out here?
Yeah, he wished me good luck before.
Yeah, same.
Before the tournament kicked off, and just saying.
Would have been awkward if you'd only got in touch with Tyler.
I didn't get anything.
That's his son right there.
Nah, that's his son.
Brendan, Jesse Marsh described you as a weed in a good way. You could see you growing before his eyes.
Oh my
and it really
God.
made me laugh. Did you
Honestly,
like it?
I've gotten so many weird comparisons before.
You are a
Weston
weed.
called me.
You're a pest.
Now a weed.
So you're a popular guy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but in not a very good way with those nicknames. But no, the weed one is funny. Maybe he's still pretty weird.
You are a weed. The Ted Lasso marketing campaign, where they put these kind of personalised billboards up in your hometowns. You got to say, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've read mine. I forgot what it says right now, to be honest. So it's outside. It's outside.
Much to you.
Yeah, it's outside my high school, which is really cool. So everyone drives in and they see it, and my dad sends me pictures because he's a teacher there. So yeah, it's really cool. I mean, Ted Lasso is obviously a big hit. I mean, it's probably made us Americans have a little bit. Yeah, people, everyone talks about Ted Lasso to us now, especially in England. They love the show, which is
they
just funny.
Yeah, it's all banter and stuff like that. And I think that the good thing is nowadays, and I think that Americans are now going over there and starting to have a name for themselves. So it's a good banter show like that. But I think it's also the players are doing a good job of really showing that Americans can do it. And with mine too, it's on a barn, which is kind of like I don't live in the South.
It's fitting for him.
But I don't live in the South, so it's kind
grew
of
up in a barn with a weeds.
There's some farmland, but it's not like
weeds and hay.
Yeah.
Weeds, hay, horses.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's a pretty cool message, and I remember reading it. And it's just I mean, as a kid, you know, you think about things like this, and it is inspiring just to see what they said and all that kind of stuff. And people will see it, and that's also taking pictures of it and stuff like that. So it is really awesome.
Medford Messi.
And Medford Messi.
I'll take that.
They're clearly very stressed out of the game against England, the USA players. I was talking to Rick Edwards, and you can hear a lot more from them in the build-up to England against USA on Friday on 5 Live. Bradley Wright Phillips is with us. You played with Tyler Adams, so what insight can you give us into him?
I think Tyler's biggest attribute is he's fearless. Apart from the obvious things, he's good on the ball. He can run all day. You know, like very good engine on him. But he's fearless, man. And I think playing this, it's not easy for 90 minutes. Someone that's going to be, you know, on your heels all game is very tough opponent.
Yeah, it could be really difficult for England to come up against him. It's an interesting timing for this game, Bradley, because it's Thanksgiving weekend. Obviously, Thanksgiving on Thursday, and the game itself is going to be played on Friday. Normally, that means it is American football all day. This weekend, is there room for the soccer?
No, there's room. Yeah, I'm here. I'm obviously in America, so I see it all the time. It's World Cup mania here. The NFL is not getting no love, or not from the people I know anyway. It's not getting no love. I think this needed to happen so they could understand what the real football is. I think this actually needed to happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like you said, just clearly surrounding yourself by the right people who are focusing on what's happening at the World Cup. But lots of celebrations. Have you got Thanksgiving dinner tonight?
No, my wife will cook some. We just do our own dinner, but it's not really. We're not Thanksgiving. I'm not going to pretend and act like I'm into it. I'm not.
No, that's fair enough.
It's just an excuse to drink some wine.
Well, you're saying that to us, and we're in Doha at the moment, where it's quite tricky to get your hands on a bottle of wine.
Man, sorry guys, I apologize.
Don't worry. But look, have a really great Thanksgiving. Have you got your snacks in for the game between England and the USA?